Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. At the Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Welcome inside Rogers Center. The roof is pushed back on a glorious Sunday afternoon as the Blue Jays wrap up this Canada Day weekend with a final game against the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox trying to sweep a 3-game series here in Toronto for the first time since June of 2011. And the Blue Jays are going to try to break up that sweep. Joe Biagini goes to the mound, making his 11th start of the season. The Field Level Action Cam is brought to you by the Samsung Galaxy S8. Unbox your phone. Well, the Blue Jays have seen way too much of the Red Sox starting pitching as it has been dominant so far in this series. John Farrell is back in the dugout after spending yesterday in Kansas City watching his son Luke make his major league debut. Take a look at the lineup for the Red Sox. They're 43 and 46 and 35, first in the American League East. Top of the order, Mookie Betts has been tough on the Blue Jays this season. 7 for 20 with 2 doubles, a home run, and then Jackie Bradley Jr. He is red hot, a 5-game hit streak. He has extra base hits in his last 6 games. And Jackie Bradley Jr. 9 for 22 during that hit streak. This is a tough lineup. Haven't hit a home run in this series, and they have won both of those ball games.
No Xander Bogaerts, who was a late scratch from that lineup right there. Joe Biagini for the 25th time will take the mound, 11th time as a starter. Last time out, he pitched into the 6th inning, gave up just 3 earned runs. That's the 7th time this year that he has given up 3 earned runs or less. A couple of problems that he has had. One of them was walks. Last time out, he issued a career-high 4 walks in that start against Baltimore. And he hasn't really gotten a lot of runs to work with. He's received 1 run of support for a total of 29 and 10 starts this year. So they're not even averaging 3 runs for Joe when he takes the mound. So Biagini will try and stop this red-hot Boston Red Sox lineup. This is his first start versus the Red Sox after 11 appearances out of the bullpen.
Joe Biagini gathering his thoughts as he knows he's got a tough assignment ahead of him today. Boston scored 7 runs on 12 hits yesterday and 7 runs on 12 hits Friday night. And as we mentioned, they did not hit a home run in either of those 2 wins. The 7th and 8th time they have done that this season, scoring 7 or more runs without benefit of a homer. Biagini is set. First pitch of the game is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Mookie Betts, 7 for 20, as we mentioned, against the Blue Jays. For the season, he's got 13 homers and 43 RBIs. 26 degrees at the start of play.
This guy's a dangerous leadoff hitter because he's got some power. 13 home runs. He also has 27 doubles, which leads the American League, and he can run. More stolen bases yesterday. 2 more yesterday to give him 14 on the season.
One thing we have seen throughout this series is the patience of the Red Sox hitters. They don't overswing. They take what you give them. There's been a lot of opposite field base hits up and down this lineup.
I think more so this year than what we have seen in the past. Their patience at the plate and their ability to hit with 2 strikes. It's been very impressive so far. And this is just the 2nd time that the Blue Jays have seen the Red Sox this year.
Blue Jays will go to Boston for the first time after the All-Star break. 2-2 to Mookie Betts. Got it. Fastball ran back over the outside corner. Biagini strikes out the first batter of the ballgame. Let's take a look at the defense. Blue Jays charged with an error yesterday. They've committed 49 on the season. Pierce, Pilar, Bautista in the outfield. Martin back behind the plate making his 45th start, and Darwin Barney's at second.
A lefty on the mound tonight, so Darwin will get the start. His 19th game at second base. He's made 1 error. He's got the highest fielding percentage of any Blue Jay second baseman this year. Says he feels a lot more comfortable getting a little bit more playing time at second base this year.
This is Andrew Benintendi, the left fielder. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it off his foot. It's not a nice way to start Sunday afternoon.
Even though he's got that pad on there, Benintendi fouls it off his foot. He was off yesterday. He's been dealing with a little bit of a thumb issue. Right off the big toe. Not a good feel. That shows you the kind of stuff that Joe Biagini has. His fastball looks like it's moving all over the place here early on.
Benintendi trying to get the feeling back in that right foot, taking a little extra time before he settles back in. Biagini always works out of the stretch. Here's the 0-1. High fly ball. Bautista battling the sun. A bright sunny day here. And he makes the pitch. 2 up, 2 down. Gorgeous afternoon, and what a way to wrap up a beautiful Canada Day weekend. Canada Day 150th birthday celebration yesterday. Lots of things going on around the ballpark all yesterday afternoon and into the night.
How about the excitement in the ballpark yesterday? It was really exciting. Thunderous ovation. Unfortunately, Blue Jays couldn't give him anything to cheer about yesterday.
Joe Biagini jumps ahead of Dustin Pedroia. Pat, you mentioned the lineup scratch. Xander Bogaerts was initially hitting third in this lineup. He was scratched with a groin issue. Just a last-minute change in the lineup, and Pedroia drops into the 3 spot.
Xander Bogaerts is hitting over 300. Take his bat out of this lineup, and Joe Biagini doesn't have to worry about him, at least initially in this game. It was late too. It was about 15 minutes before first pitch that we got word that Bogaerts was going to be scratched.
Well, the routine is ballplayers come out about 15 minutes beforehand, run a few sprints, and get loose. And you can see Bogaerts with John Farrell and the training staff there. They're talking about the situation and probably weighing the percentages of playing against not playing. And you can see John Farrell says, "Hey man, take the rest of the day off, and we'll put somebody else in there."
Left groin soreness, and that's something you don't want to mess around with. Something minor can turn into something major, and then you're really dealing with DL time.
Mentioned John Farrell was away to watch his son Luke make his major league debut yesterday in Kansas City. Kind of a rough outing for Luke. He went 2 2/3 and charged with 5 runs. Well, Biagini walks Pedroia with 2 outs, and that has been an ugly theme so far in this series for the Blue Jays pitchers. 4 walks yesterday. Mookie Betts walked 3 times himself, and each time he came around to score.
And
the Blue Jays walked 14 on Friday.
14 on Friday, and it seems with 2 outs, Red Sox have been coming up with big base hits against the Blue Jays, so you got a chance to knock them down and get them out of that inning. Got to finish it off.
This is Mitch Moreland back in the lineup. He did not start yesterday with the lefty Liriano making that start. Biagini comes back and jumps ahead of Moreland. Moreland riding an 0 for 10 slump. He's been a nice addition to this Red Sox lineup. Really adds a great glove at first, but he represents a pretty potent left-handed bat.
Left-handed bat to balance it out just a little bit more, and the ability to go the other way and hit doubles. He's got 18 of them this year.
Boy, Biagini's made 2 real good pitches to Moreland to start this at bat. Lots of discussion about whether or not this will be the final start for Joe Biagini, and I think he has shown well. This is his 11th start, and for me, he has pitched like a starter.
Yeah, just in the opening, we talked about that he's had a couple of bumps in the road, but overall, not too shabby.
0-2. Wouldn't chase that breaking ball. Moreland just 1 for 3 against Biagini. Hasn't faced him an awful lot. Biagini, of course, prior to this season, last year in his first big league season, worked exclusively out of the bullpen. Pedroia takes his lead at first, not running. That's going to be out of play.
This is where the Red Sox are so tough, where they have that ability to foul off pitches, keep at bats going, make the innings a little bit longer, putting a little bit more stress on that pitcher. Biagini got the first 2 guys, boom, boom, quickly, then end up walking Pedroia. And now Moreland making his life difficult with 2 strikes.
Gets away from Martin, not far enough for Pedroia to take a chance to advance.
I think the best way that you can attack the Boston Red Sox, who are very patient, like we've been saying, just be aggressive with them. Take your chances. Use the fastball. I don't think you go to the edges against them. I think you have to be aggressive and attack the strike zone.
Especially when you're ahead. That's when they're most vulnerable. Go right after them. Try to finish the at-bats. 2-2 now. Moreland back into the count. There goes Pedroia. Ball is low. Throw to second in the dirt. It gets away. And now Donaldson has to hustle away from second. He was in the shift. He was the fielder making that play on the low throw, but Pedroia picks up another stolen base.
Picked a great pitch to run on. 2-2 changeup, and it was in the dirt. Martin does everything he can. He short hops that ball, picks it, but then his throw to second base bounces. Pedroia with steal number 3 on the season, and that's just heads up baseball, picking the right pitch, changeup to run on.
Full count to Moreland with a runner in scoring position. Curveball bounced foul. But this is where the Red Sox have really delivered key hits time and time again. We mentioned they have scored 7 runs in each of the first 2 games of this series without benefit of a home run. And they are tough with runners in scoring position. As a team, the Red Sox batting .272 with runners in scoring position. Another foul out of play.
Yeah, he's making good pitches. Moreland keeps fouling him off. Moreland had his 12-game on-base streak stopped yesterday against the Blue Jays. You know, he wants to get it going again.
Red Sox scored 2 in the first and 2 in the second in yesterday's game against Francisco Liriano. Another 3-2 pitch. Biagini checks on Pedroia. Ball 4 inside. Back-to-back 2-out walks issued by Biagini.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to have a quick inning. He's up to 21 pitches now after those back-to-back walks and a lot of those foul-offs. I like what I saw from Moreland as he choked up on that bat a little bit with 2 strikes. And he is rewarded with a base on balls.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned what a tough team this is with 2 strikes. As a team, they're hitting .208 with 2 strikes, and that doesn't sound very good. But Major League Baseball's average is just over 170 with 2 strikes. So they're better than the norm. So here's Hanley Ramirez, who's had a good series. Ramirez 5 for 11 in this series. He's scored a run and hit a double. He's got a 6-game hit streak. You know, Pat, what this lineup does, and it's something the Blue Jays have done over the last couple of years, you don't see it as frequently this year, is they're not afraid to pass the baton. They don't get a good pitch to hit, they'll take a ball, turn it over to the next guy.
Yeah, look at that. They haven't gotten a base hit, and they've got 2 runners on, one of them in scoring position with the stolen base. And let their teammates do the rest, and they've got the guys to drive him in too. Hanley Ramirez is the right guy if you want him at the plate. He's been swinging a hot bat lately.
A lot of early pressure for the Blue Jays. The Red Sox have drawn 5 first-inning walks in this series. Ball in his strike. You know, you look at the problems of this inning. It goes back to Mitch Moreland's at bat. He was 0-2. Biagini didn't finish him off there. He threw him an 0-2 curveball in the dirt. It really had no effect at all. So Moreland worked the walk, and now he turns things over to Hanley Ramirez. Base hit, center field. Pedroia is digging around third. He's going to come in to score. Moreland is going to third. He slides in safely ahead of the throw. And Hanley Ramirez has an RBI single, his 6th hit of this series. Another walk coming in to score for Boston.
Ramirez had 3 hits yesterday in the ball game, including a double and 2 singles, so he's been a good RBI man as he's going to pick one up here with 2 outs. Laser right back through the middle.
Jackie Bradley Jr. now will bat after Ramirez has given the Red Sox the lead. Joe Biagini with a quick visit from the pitching coach has thrown 24 pitches in this first inning, and you're right, Pat, it looked like it was going to be an easy inning.
He was going to cruise through this inning. Had the first 2 guys rather quickly.
Breaking ball for strike 1. Biagini's not had any problems getting ahead of the Red Sox hitters. He just hasn't been able to finish off the at-bats. 1-0 Boston. Now it's 0-2. And here's that count we were talking about. This is when a hitter is most vulnerable. 0-2. Jackie Bradley Jr. has done a nice job of putting the ball in play to the opposite field, but for me, you got to finish him off right here. Be aggressive. Use that fastball with good movement.
You've thrown enough pitches here in the first inning. If you want to stick around, you got to start shortening up these innings.
0-2. Missed upstairs. Blue Jays as a team have not fared well in the first innings of games. Their ERA in the first inning this season, 6.22. Another curveball, 2-2. 28 pitches for Biagini after 2 quick outs. He struck out Mookie Betts, got Benintendi to fly out, and then walked Dustin Pedroia and Mitch Moreland. That set up the Hanley Ramirez RBI single. Three and 2.
From 0-2 to 3-2. Now they're going to play behind Ramirez over at first base as Hanley will take off. Jackie Bradley's been swinging the bat hot, driving the ball to left field. He had a good month of June and had a double in the first inning for 2 RBIs yesterday.
Weak ground ball. Tulowitzki will throw to first, and Smoke made a nice stretch to end the inning. But Boston takes advantage of a couple of 2-out walks. Justin Smoke with a good stretch at first to handle that throw to retire Jackie Bradley Jr. Tulowitzki to Smoke with the extra effort. 1-0 Boston. Sixth game on the homestand. They're hitting under 200. They need some offense, something other than a home run. Take a look at the Blue Jays. They are 6 games under 500 for the first time since May 23rd. 37-43. Justin Smoke, he's had no problems over his last 21 games, hitting .342. Smoke is headed to his first All-Star game down in Miami, and Steve Pearce Homered in the 9th inning yesterday, and since he's come off the disabled list, been swinging a hot bat. Over his last 13 games, .447 average, and they'll deal with another left-hander in Drew Pomeranz.
Yeah, they'll face Pomeranz, 16th start of the season for Pomeranz. He's 7-4 with a .381 earned run average. He did not allow an earned run over his 5 innings in his last start. That was against Minnesota. That's the 3rd time in his career with 7 strikeouts and no walks in that game. Been throwing a lot better lately. He's allowed 3 earned runs in 17 2/3 innings over his last 2 starts. His fastball's been good. He's been cutting the ball just a little bit more lately, and that's been very effective for him.
First pitch strike to Bautista. .231 on the season, 14 homers and 37 driven in. Curveball downstairs. Jose is over his last 8.
He gets Pomeranz, who likes to pitch up in the strike zone with both his fastball and his curveball. They will get a fastball. He'll challenge them.
Pomeranz is interesting in that he was a #1 pick of the Cleveland Indians in 2010, and then before he ever pitched for Cleveland, he was traded to Colorado. Part of that trade that brought Ubaldo Jimenez to the Indians.
That's right. And he spent some time in San Diego, and Boston gave up a lot to acquire him last season from San Diego.
Anderson Espinosa, one of their top pitching prospects. That took place on July 14th. Bautista, high fly ball to left. Benintendi coming in, waits for it, and that's 1 out. Defensively, Benintendi is back in left field. Bradley Jr. is in center. Mookie Betts. Lind is at shortstop. Pedroia, the Gold Glover, at second, and Christian Vasquez back behind the plate.
And we have to highlight Dustin Pedroia again. He's not committed an error in his last 100 games since his last error. All other second basemen in the major leagues have committed 298 errors. Dustin hasn't made one since last season.
Here is Russell Martin. That's a big breaking curveball for his strike. Martin only has 1 at bat against Drew Pomeranz, but it was a fruitful at bat. He hit a home run. Another curveball hit on the ground. Easy play for Pedroia as Martin is thrown out. 2 quick outs for Pomeranz.
Well, Drew Pomeranz, they have set him in between Chris Sale. They have him following Chris Sale for a reason and ahead of Rick Porcello. Sale's had an influence on him, working quickly, getting the ball. You can see he's not going to stray too far from that pitching rubber, and he's going to change speeds like Chris Sale did yesterday.
Plus the added benefit of that Chris Sale hangover for the hitters the next day. My goodness, was he tough yesterday. Josh Donaldson struck out 3 times against Sale. Sale racked up 11 strikeouts. Pomeranz staked to an early lead, pounding that strike zone. Donaldson hitting 143 over his last 15 games. There's that high fastball on the 0-2 pitch.
It looked like it had a little cut to it. Something that he's been doing. Not afraid to throw it up there. Sale threw a lot of fastballs to Josh yesterday. And Pomeranz jumped ahead with 2 quick fastballs.
Pomeranz got to the big leagues for the first time in 2011 with the Colorado Rockies. Made 4 starts as a 22-year-old. Here's the 2-2 to Donaldson, just off the outside corner. Pomeranz spent parts of 3 seasons in Colorado, a couple of seasons in Oakland. As you see, Justin Smoke on deck. Donaldson chops it toward the mound. Pomeranz spins and fires in time. Quick inning for Drew Pomeranz. Just 13 pitches, and he retires the side in order.
Today, Rogers made Phillips' dream come true of being an honorary Blue Jay for a day as he attended batting practice, hung out in the dugout, and even delivered the ceremonial game ball. See what other baseball dreams are coming true this summer at RogersCelebrates.com.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And you can see by the smile on that youngster's face what a thrill this is for him to come out here at Rogers Center. His picture taken with Ace. It's been a good weekend for everybody, fans, two ball clubs, a couple of AL East rivals meeting up on Canada Day. Christian Vasquez, the catcher, makes first pitch strike. Vasquez and his catching partner Sandy Leon, they practically split it 50-50. Vasquez making his 40th start of the season. Leon started for the 42nd time yesterday. Weak ground ball to third. Thompson takes his time on a wing.
We had a chance to visit with Luke Maley today, and we were talking about Joe Biagini and asking about his stuff. He says his fastball is electric. It moves all over the place. I'd like to see him use that effectively this afternoon. He also says his curveball is, quote, it comes out of the sky. I mean, he gets right on top of the ball, and he can really spin it out of that same arm slot as his fastball. Two very effective pitches for Biagini. And again, attack that strike zone because his stuff really plays.
This is Sue Lin, the shortstop. He was originally at third base this afternoon, but with Bogaerts being scratched, he slid over to short. He played shortstop in the opener on Friday night. There's a good fastball. Something else that Maley told you during that meeting about Biagini throwing out the stretch I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, he says he's had a lot of success pitching out of the stretch, and some of the toughest batters that you face, or some of the toughest times in the game you face with runners on base, you're out of the stretch. So why change?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty insightful. Joe Smith talking with Biagini next to Marcus Stroman. Stroman will open up the Yankee series tomorrow night in New York against Masahiro Tanaka. Biagini ahead, 1-2. Fouled off.
They continually want to throw that high fastball with 2 strikes against these Red Sox hitters, but they've been so disciplined. They've been able to stay off of it. 30-pitch first inning for Biagini, so let's go right after him, especially at the bottom of the order.
Curveball hit in the air, and this one's not going to get caught up against the wall, and Lynn can run. He's headed for third. They missed the first cutoff man, and they throw to third, not nearly in time, as Lynn has his second big league triple.
Had his first career big league multi-hit game before he came here against the Blue Jays. There's that curveball, but it doesn't break that much. It stays up over the plate, and by the time Blue Jays run that one down, that's extra bases. I think even if they hit the cutoff man, they weren't going to get him at third base.
Lynn can really run. A couple years ago in the minors, he was the fastest minor league player in the Red Sox system, and you can see he didn't waste any time getting around to third. So now with the runner at third and 1 out, the Blue Jays have to play the infield in, trying to cut off a run at the plate. Devin Marrero, number 9 hitter. Marrero's had a good series.
Yeah, he has. He's hit some balls to right field on breaking balls, and that's been his problem. Breaking balls still under 200. They're liable to do anything here with the number 9 hitter and just 1 out, runner at third base.
Ball on the strike now to Marrero. We mentioned Marrero's success in this series. He's 4 for 8. He's scored 3 runs. He's driven in 3 runs. He's walked twice and has a stolen base.
He's been hitting the breaking ball, and again, that's the problem that he has had. So to address that problem, he has made it part of his daily routine, going down to that cage and setting up the pitching machine and seeing a lot of sliders.
The fastball ran off the plate inside.
Trying to help him recognize that breaking ball and stay on it. And if you have to hit at the right field, hit at the right field. And that's what he has done in this series. A couple of times he's hit sliders to right field for RBI singles.
Curveball on the corner. 2-2 now to Devin Marrero. Marrero had a big 2-out base hit in the second inning of yesterday's game. He came around to score the third run for the Red Sox. Fairly productive in these run-producing situations.
Don't think that they would try the contact play here with Mookie Betts on deck. Don't want to be running into an out.
Another full count, and the Red Sox lineup has done a good job of making Biagini throw it over. He's walked 2 already, first time through the order. Another full count as Mookie Betts waits on deck. Got him. Struck him out with a breaking ball as he waved at that pitch off the plate. Might have been ball 4. Well, we mentioned what a good clutch-hitting ball club this Red Sox lineup is, and when you look at the averages of some of their hitters, it's pretty impressive what they've done with runners in scoring position.
.390, Mookie Betts, Pedroia, Bogaerts, Benintendi, and that's not by accident. They have a very good approach at the plate. They're not afraid to use the whole field. Choke up if you have to. Take what the pitcher give you. That's the mantra with the Red Sox. If they throw you away, try and hit that ball the other way.
Give you an idea of how impressive those numbers are for the Red Sox. A major league average of runners in scoring position is 254.
Betts is almost 400.
Ball on the strike now to the leadoff man for Boston. He struck out on a fastball his first time up, caught looking.
Blue Jays just finished a series with the Baltimore Orioles, and they had 3 or 4 guys in the top 5 hitting with runners in scoring position.
Breaking ball is effective for Biagini here as he gets Betts to chase. Mookie Betts leads the American League with that .390 average with runners in scoring position. Justin Upton, Adam Jones, Jonathan Scope, Corey Dickerson, those are the top 5. One almost got away from Russell Martin, caught it in a webbing of his catcher's mitt. Two and two now to Mookie Betts. Martin making sure that that webbing is still intact.
Betts is tough on the inner half. He's so quick if you try and put that fastball by him inside.
Changeup just foul. We saw Betts on Friday night hook one right inside the third base bag. He is probably one of the best in the American League at keeping that inside pitch fair. Oftentimes you'll see hitters hit it hard, but they can't keep it fair.
He goes through the baseball instead of around it. That's how he's able to keep it fair to left field.
Base hit. Lynn comes in to score. Mookie Betts continues to build on that .390 average with runners in scoring position.
Looked like they doubled up on a changeup, but Betts with those quick hands is able to stay back long enough and use his hands. Yeah, there's the changeup from Joe Biagini. It'll end up as an RBI single. The super slow-mo replay is powered by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
So Lynn, after the triple, comes in to score the second Red Sox run. It's 2-0 Boston, and now you got to keep your eye on Betts at first.
He's got a big lead.
DeMarlo Hale, the bench coach, he's the one that controls the running game for the Blue Jays. Russell Martin will look into him on the bench and get a sign as to whether or not he thinks Betts will be moving. Lead's just a little bit bigger now. There he goes. Got a great jump. No chance for Russell Martin. Boy, Mookie Betts just timed it perfectly. Got a terrific jump at first. That's his 15th stolen base. He's only been caught twice.
He's so quick. That first step, he's in his sprinter spot. He stays low right through it. Russell Martin made a nice play. Catch and the throws right there, but watch how he stays low all the way through, and the dive into the bag will pick up the stolen base. He leads the team now with 15.
Well, Dustin Pedroia had a stolen base in the first inning, and Betts with this stolen base here in the second. When the Red Sox have multiple stolen bases in a game, they are 12-0. They're not the slugging Red Sox we've seen over the last couple of years. They can manufacture runs with the best of them. Andrew Benintendi behind 0-2. Comes at him with the fastball, and Biagini strikes him out, but the Red Sox take advantage of a triple and an RBI base hit. Mookie Betts, they take a 2-0 lead.
Starting players and rosters for both the AL and NL will be revealed. That's when we'll find out whether Justin Smoak, who's in the midst of a breakout campaign, will be the starting first baseman for the American League. Now, in a recent appearance on Sportsnet 590, The Fans Baseball Central, Smoak admitted that it's taken him a little longer to fully understand that failure in this game was all just part of the process to being successful. He was always so hard on himself, and it wasn't easy to accept he was going to fail. Smoak said this season he threw that way of thinking out the window. Now, when he's not having a good day at the plate, he's been able to turn things around a lot quicker. It's how he's been able to handle failure, Buck, that has been a real game changer for Justin Smoak.
Hazel, it's really interesting how everybody handles that over the course of their career. Some guys never really understand how to handle a failure. And obviously, we've talked about it the entire existence of baseball. You fail 7 times out of 10 at-bats, and you're a Hall of Famer.
You know what I used to do when I'd have failure? I'd scream at myself on my way home in the car, just yelling at myself. How could you swing at that? People would drive by and give me the strangest looks. I don't know why.
If I would have done that every time I had a bad day, I'd have lost my voice.
But you're right. You fail 7 out of 10, 70% of the times, and you're a 300 hitter.
Yeah.
So you better learn how to deal with it.
And here's Smoak, who admits this is the first time he's really understood that. Great run over his last 3 weeks, batting .342. You see that catcher's movement. Too much movement from Christian Vasquez, and the umpire picks up on that. Well, if you're moving your glove that much, you must think it's outside.
And it was. From up here, we could see it. That ball was off the plate. Smokey's been unbelievable this season against left-handed pitching. Got more of a natural swing from the right side.
The only hitter in the American League hitting better against lefty pitching is Avisail Garcia. Smoak's trying to close that gap. What a line drive, and Justin Smoak hits his daily rocket. He is on fire. That'll push his average even further over 300.
You know what's impressive about that? It's 3-1. A lot of times hitters come out of their shoes trying to go extra base, but look how quiet he is at the plate. The same step, 3-1 as it is 1-0. Just quiet at the plate, doesn't try and do too much with it. Head down, the barrel of the bat right to the baseball. You couldn't carve out a better swing than that.
That was a beautiful swing on a 3-1 pitch. That's the first hit for the Blue Jays. Xander Morales makes one upstairs. The Blue Jays overall have been struggling offensively. Just haven't scored many runs. They haven't been hot yet, and we really haven't seen any of their hitters on a hot streak where you say, man, this guy, outside of Justin Smoak, nobody has really put together any kind of stretch of extended success at the plate.
Extended, the key word to that. We've seen bits and pieces, but we haven't seen it extended, you know, for 2 or 3 weeks where, you know, there's 2 or 3 guys hot. And I think teams, to score in the big leagues consistently, you have to have 2 or 3 guys hot all the time. You can't have 6 or 7 guys not swinging the bat. You're not going to score any runs.
Yeah, that's too many 3-up, 3-down innings.
Yeah.
And the flip side of that is what the Red Sox are doing right now. Guys are having good at-bats, working for 2-out walks, getting base hits. 3-0 count to Xander Morales. Ball 4. So a good start here in the second. Leadoff single and a walk. This homestand has not been very productive offensively for the Blue Jays.
Well, the strikeouts in 5 games, they've struck out 49 times. That could really kill a lot of rallies. And of course, hitting with runners in scoring position has been a problem. Just 2 runs a game. You're not going to win many games with 2 runs.
49 strikeouts. That's almost 2 full games of outs without anything happening.
Just kills the rallies. If you put the ball in play, maybe they'll find a hole, or maybe the defense will kick it around.
So here's Troy Tulowitzki. First and second, nobody out. Blue Jays are down by 2 already this afternoon. Breaking ball for strike 1. Tulowitzki missed 31 games with that hamstring injury that happened out in Anaheim playing against the Angels, and in his 30 games back, he's managed to hit just .216.
Seeing some signs from him, though, of pitches up in the strike zone. He's getting hold of it.
There's a drive to center, but Jackie Bradley Jr. is there. Smoak goes back and tags at second. He moves up on the out. Tulowitzki hit it sharply, but right to Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yeah, that's another pitch that was up, and he will pitch in the strike zone up. So Tulowitzki put a big swing on it. Steve Pearce looks like he's starting to get it together after he has come off the disabled list. That's his 6th home run of the season. That was in the 9th inning to avoid the shutout. Steve Pearce gets another lefty today, and now he's got some runners on base. This is where he's at his best.
Yeah, he hit that home run off Robbie Scott, as you mentioned, the lefty in the 9th inning. Pearce is 5 for his last 9 over his last 3 games. Goes after the first pitch. Mookie Betts setting up. Smoak's tagging at third. Betts is deep, and they don't have much of a shot here as Pearce delivers the RBI on the sac fly. For Pearce, RBI number 18, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
Single walk, alertly Smoak tagging up on that fly ball by Tulowitzki. You don't have to be the fastest guy in the world to be able to tag up and go second to third, giving Pearce an RBI opportunity on a fly ball to right field. That one was manufactured by Justin Smoak.
One of the few runs the Blue Jays have scored on something other than a home run. So good job by Smoak. He got it started with a single, went to second on the walk to Morales, and advanced on Tulowitzki's fly ball. 2-1 Boston. Here's Kevin Pillar. Pillar 0 for his last 9. Got off to a great start this season, hitting over 300 in his first 45 games. The average now at 252.
They've been throwing a lot of breaking balls to Pillar lately, and a lot of pitches off the plates. And Kevin's been chasing them.
Pitch off the plate there. He reaches for it and fouls it into the seats.
Best way to get strikes is don't swing at balls. Don't swing at those pitches off the plate. They're going to come back to you.
Fouled straight back. Started out a beautiful day here at Rogers Center, 26 degrees, but you can see the roof here starting to move to the closed position. They are telling us there are thunderstorms in the area, so they're going to be proactive and start the closing process now.
Turn on the lights. The lights are starting to flicker and come on.
Another pitch up that he had to swing at with 2 strikes. 1-2 now to Pillar, 2 outs. A run in for the Blue Jays here. Steve Pearce with a sacrifice fly. Drives home Justin Smoke. Pillar gets a piece of it and pays the price. Battling with 2 strikes, he fouled it somewhere off his ankle, his leg, maybe the top of his foot.
Curveball, tough to get on top of that one. Even hits that one right down into the ground. Try and walk that one off.
Fastball right down the middle, and Pillar is caught looking at strike 3, but the Blue Jays get on the board. A base hit, a walk, and a sac fly. 2-1 Boston as we head to the 3rd.
Jays food drive will be taking place next weekend. Fans are encouraged to donate non-perishable food items, provide monetary donations, or purchase mystery bags for $25 or $40, which contain a baseball cap autographed by a player, coach, or alumni. Sprott Foundation will be matching all monetary donations throughout the weekend up to $50,000. So we encourage all fans to check it out, Buck, next weekend.
Absolutely. It's a very important part of the Lady Jays charitable efforts. You want to make sure you come out. It's a great weekend, of course, the final weekend before All-Star break. The Houston Astros are in town for the first time. You get a chance to take a look at a first-place ball club and at the same time do some real good for the Blue Jays wives and Jays Care Foundation.
Houston had a big win yesterday, scored 4 runs late to beat the Yankees. He beat Dylan Betances and Aroldis Chapman in that 8th inning.
Houston with 55 wins have a 13.5 game lead over second place Los Angeles Angels. There's a strike 2-1 to the leadoff man, Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia leading off the 3rd inning. Pedroia walked and scored in the 1st inning. He scored the first Red Sox run. There's another good fastball. That's the fastball I like from Biagini. He's got great movement on his fastball. You throw that pitch, it starts off the plate outside, and it's the toughest pitch for a hitter to get to physically.
You're not going to do much with it. Hit ahead with that fastball and then try and finish him off with your secondary pitches. Good pitch.
Went right back to it. Pedroia didn't like it. Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire, rings him up, and Pedroia with a lengthy discussion with Randazzo, but he'll give up the argument. But that's the pitch. It looks outside, and then the movement takes it over the corner.
Here it comes, right back to the outside corner. He's got one of the lowest batting averages against on secondary pitches, but if you establish that fastball, that one is right on the corner. That's a strike. Good pitch.
Moreland gets a pitch up in the zone and rips it into right field. So Moreland's had a walk and a base hit in his 2 plate appearances so far today. That's the 4th hit for Boston.
You can just see the 2 different pitches. They were the same pitch, but in different spots. One was a called strike down and away, and that one was down the middle. And Moreland was waiting for it.
Hanley Ramirez, the DH. Ramirez had an RBI single his first time up. Big swing, and Ramirez misses it.
Hanley's had a good series. RBI single first time up. This time swings through that high fastball.
It is raining as the roof is trying to close quickly, but there's a check swing tapper as Barney will go to second just in time to get Moreland. So Barney's judgment was right on the money as he had enough time to get that lead runner.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, the roof is closing, and it has started to rain a little bit, but it's kind of one of those summer thunderstorm kinds of rain. Not hard yet. Jackie Bradley Jr. hits it off Barney's glove into right. Ramirez goes to third. So they had him played in the shift, but he hit it so hard he hits it past Barney and off his glove for a base hit.
Told you he's been swinging a hot bat. So he's not going to waste any time ripping that first pitch just out of the reach of Barney. If Darwin comes up with that, it would have been a sensational play. But by him slowing it down, that allowed Ramirez to go to third base. Darwin almost came up with the play of the game right there.
Well, Boston continues to keep pressure on the Blue Jays. They've scored a run in each of the first 2 innings and threaten here in the 3rd. 5 hits now for Boston. Christian Vasquez grounded out the 3rd. Genie drops that hook in there for strike 1. Vasquez had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago, and I asked him about his arm strength. He said it's right back to where it was prior to the injury. Last year was a bit of a rebuilding season, but this year his arm is 100% once again.
And not being able to play has stunted his development a little bit as a hitter. He hit in the minor leagues and showed some promise his first season as a hitter, and then had the problems with the arm. He's going to hit. He looks like a hitter. You never hear that term, he looks hitterish at the plate. He looks like he's got a chance to hit.
Came up at the end of 2014 and played in 55 games, hit .240 with 20 RBIs. He had 9 doubles and a home run and 175 at bats. Then missed the entire 15 season and played 57 games last year. 0-2. Down and away. Curveball in the air. It's popped over the screen. Now, I like a curveball from time to time, but with 2 strikes, what's a hitter thinking about doing?
Protecting the plate.
And the curveball's slower, so you have a little more time to react to it. I think when you're down and away with a fastball 0-2, to me, that's the best pitch you can make.
He got away with one right there. That curveball was right there for Vasquez, and he fouled it back.
Another 0-2 pitch. There goes the runner. Just foul. As Jackie Bradley Jr. was on the move. So Biagini now has thrown a curveball and a fastball, and now Troy Tulowitzki. He came in with an intent of talking to Russell Martin more than Biagini. He went right to Martin with his thoughts about this next pitch. That's interesting, and yep. Tulo doesn't miss a thing on the field.
It could be about the pitch, the sequence. It could also be if that runner takes off at first base, what Russell was going to do with the baseball, where he was going to throw it. There was an instance last year where Tulowitzki noticed that the batter was pulling everything, said, hey, you might want to throw the ball away. And they did, and they got a big out.
Fastball away, too far outside. 2 more steals in this game today. The Red Sox have 7 stolen bases in 3 games here at Rogers Center. And as we said, that has really gone off the profile of the Red Sox over the past several seasons. Look like Jackie Bradley Jr. wants to run again here on this 1-2 pitch.
If they throw him a breaking ball again, that'd be a good pitch to run on.
Curveball for the strikeout. Biagini gets that curveball down and away to strike out Vasquez, strand a couple of base runners. It's still a 2-1 Boston game.
Jays salute the Canadian Armed Forces, and today they honor Master Corporal Herb Lima. He joined the Canadian Forces in 2009 and has deployed domestically and around the world. And recently he was awarded a Canadian Special Forces Command Commander's Commendation. Master Corporal Herb Lima, today's Sunday's Salute.
Congratulations to Master Corporal Lima and all the Canadian forces that serve so well around the world. And the Sunday Salute, a beautiful tradition here on Sunday day games at Rogers Center. The roof is in the closing process as the thunderstorms are passing through the area. Darwin Barney shows bunt, takes a strike. Barney batting ninth, playing at second base today. Darwin got up to a great start as he got some regular at bats in the absence of Josh Donaldson and Troy Tulowitzki in April. Over his last 27 games, hitting just 141, but over his last 10 games, back up to 292.
You know what he'll always do? He'll give you a good at bat, good professional at bat. Knows his swing better than anybody, knows his limitations. Try to poke a ball the other way if he has to. If you make a mistake and come inside, he can pull the ball for extra bases. Darwin's got a couple of home runs this year. Just a solid pro.
There's a drive to left field. Benintendi cruises back just shy of the warning track and dropped it. Barney hustling into second, slides in safely. Boy, Benintendi was just cruising back, assuming he was going to make a routine play, and he dropped it. Should be the third error of the season on the left fielder, Andrew Benintendi.
Catchable ball, but that's what I mean about Darwin Barney being able to pull the ball. Did something on it, and Benintendi, I don't know if the glove got up into his eyes and he lost contact to the ball. It's off the end of his glove. That's a catchable ball. Blue Jays will take it as Barney turns on that one, and watch him realize that ball's down, and now he puts his head down and makes it into second base.
You know what? It happens every day in the big leagues. You assume something's going to happen. Benintendi assumed he was going to make a catch. He drops the ball. Barney assumed he was going to make the catch in left field, and he had to scramble to get into second.
Now the Blue Jays got to take advantage of it. If you're going to give them opportunities and extra outs in an inning, take advantage of it.
Bautista has 738 RBIs as a Blue Jay. He needs 2 more to tie George Bell for third on the franchise RBI list. And when you look at his numbers offensively, he's on the leaderboards across the board offensively in franchise history.
Blue Jays PR department gives us upcoming milestones, and Jose Bautista has a whole category all to himself. You mentioned the RBIs, 2 more to tie George Bell. He needs 1 more RBI for 900 in his career. He's 1 behind Rance Mulliniks, our buddy Razor, in career doubles in Blue Jays history. Jose's had 203 doubles as a Blue Jay. Rance has 204.
Inside, 3-1 now.
So let's see you get all of those with 1 swing of the bat.
That takes care of everything, doesn't it?
It does.
2-run home run. He'd tie George Bell in RBIs. That'd get him over 900 career RBIs. And he certainly has the count in his favor, 3-1. Ball 4. So Bautista issued the second walk given by Pomerantz. Again, first 2 reach to start this inning. That's what happened in the second inning. This time it was an error and a walk. Last inning it was a base hit and a walk. Russell Martin grounded out to the second baseman in the first inning.
Russell's got to be thinking about getting the ball in the air right here. Get those runners around the bases.
Chris Sale and David Price looking at the roof as it's nearing the fully closed position.
Third baseman is in for some reason with Russell Martin at the plate. I mean, he's not going to be bunting against the left-hander.
No.
We're going to push him back now, aren't they?
Devin Marrero still in that same position at third. That's a standard position when you anticipate a sacrifice bunt. You know, that really limits his defensive range at third. Once he puts himself into that position, you cut down your lateral mobility. And with the lefty throwing to Russell Martin, that ball's going to come into him. He's got a chance to hook one right past him.
That's right. He is facing the pitcher, and as the pitch goes towards home plate, he positions himself. Now Brian Butterfield has said he's not going to swing. He's just going to swing away. He's not going to be bunting.
Pomerantz drops it in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
But you don't want to have that kind of movement as you're getting ready to field a ground ball.
The Red Sox have won 5 of Pomerantz's last 7 starts. He personally is 4-1 over those 7 starts. In the meantime, the Blue Jays have lost 7 of their last 9 games. Upstairs, 2-2. Brian Butterfield, he has all sorts of different checkpoints for the defensive positioning. And he makes sure all of his infielders are up to speed. With Lynn at short, they're not going to challenge him with a lot of the sophisticated defensive alignments because he hasn't been with the team that much. He was not with him in spring training.
So it's basically halfway, pull, or shade him the other way.
Right.
Not a lot of other things they can do, especially when they start to shift around and shift their infielders around the ballpark.
Martin to right. Mookie Betts has a beat on it. Barney goes back and tags, but Betts has got a cannon for an arm and he has to stay put. So Martin lines out to right field. Mookie Betts, with 4 outfield assists, has one of the better arms in right field in the American League.
Yeah, just 4 outfield assists because nobody runs on them. They know better. And that ball just wasn't hit deep enough for anyone to move up. Essentially, the Boston Red Sox outfield is so good because they've got basically 3 center fielders playing in the outfield.
But the error by Benintendi in this inning has allowed the Blue Jays an opportunity to tie this game. Josh Donaldson grounded out to the pitcher. Barney at second. He reached on the Benintendi error. Bautista drew a walk. He's at first. Tom Drake down at first calls Donaldson for the swing.
A little bit harder breaking ball that time from Pomerantz. He started Josh off last at bat with a couple of fastballs. You see Josh formulating an idea of what he wants to do here in this at bat.
Pomeranz took too much time for Donaldson's liking. He asked the umpire for time, and it was granted. Christian Vasquez gave a series of signs on his chest protector shin guards. That could be an indicator. That could in fact be the pitch. And then he gave a series of signals. Bouncing ball to third. Marrero steps on the bag for one. Back to first. Double play. So the air to start the inning is stranded. And it's not a problem as Donaldson bounces into the inning-ending double play. We go to the fourth. Boston with the lead.
2-1 lead here in the fourth. I asked Pete Walker how much stock he puts into hard contact versus soft contact as a way to further evaluate a pitcher's performance. Walker told me he and the coaching staff believe the type of contact a hitter makes is sometimes a better indicator than traditional pitching stats. When a pitcher gives up too much hard contact, obviously you're going to need to make adjustments. For someone like Joe Biagini, who this season has had one of the lowest line drive rates in the majors, Walker said he's able to induce soft contact because he's got great angle on the ball, his downward plane, and just the way he changes speed. So you know a pitcher's on top of his game, Walker tells me, when he's inducing soft contact on some of the best hitters in the game. Buck.
Well, we saw that yesterday with Chris Sale and how he was able to change speeds and really take the sting out of the bat of the Blue Jay hitters by changing velocity. Biagini does it with the movement of his fastball and the ability to get the changeup off. I think anytime you see consistent hard contact against a pitcher, chances are everything is about the same speed.
That's right. That's right. Sale has the ability to do it. He has 4 different pitches that he throws, each one of them at 3 different speeds.
Lind drops down a perfect bunt and he beats it out. So Lind has tripled and now he has a bunt single. Another multi-game hit for him in his young big league career.
I like this guy. He plays the game the right way. Showed off his speed and some power his last time up with a triple to right center field. Now he's going to show off his bunting skills as he deadens that ball. Look where Josh is playing. Donaldson is in and he still can't get there quick enough to get him over at first base. And it'll be an infield hit.
They called up Lind from Double-A. He was playing at Portland. He was signed by the Red Sox in 2012 as an international free agent from Taiwan. A perfect bunt up the first base line. This is going to be a base hit. Well, this is not your father's Red Sox, that's for sure. 2 back-to-back base hits, both bunt base hits. Lind, the number 8 hitter, and then the number 9 hitter, Devin Marrero.
Perfectly executed, by the way. One up the third base line, and now this one they're going to push. He probably got the bunt sign and said, okay, if I can push the ball up the first base side, if they get me out, at least I will advance that runner. But it's such a perfect bunt by Marrero. Nothing the Blue Jays can do. So 8 and 9 get on to lead off the 4th inning on hits that went combined about 40 feet.
Yeah, and now you've got the top of the order. Mookie Betts singled his last time up. Drove in a run. He is 1 for 2 with a stolen base.
That's a great point about these aren't your father's Red Sox, guys who are just going to sit back and slug. They're going to play the game fundamentally sound and don't rely on the home run.
You know what's interesting about that? That style of baseball is a fun way to play. Everybody's engaged. Everybody knows that something might be up. John Farrell has many of opportunities to do different things. They've got some speed. We mentioned they have 7 stolen bases in the 3 games.
He's not afraid to use it either. We've seen him in the past, especially when he was the manager here for the Blue Jays, to use that suicide squeeze or the safety squeeze, runners on first and third, and squeezing the guy in and get him in the scoring position, hit and run. He knows as a pitcher that the game speeds up with runners on base, and he likes to keep the pressure on that starting pitcher.
2-0 to Mookie Betts. There's a long, deep drive to center. This one's carrying, and that's a home run for Mookie Betts. Couple of bunts and a 3-run home run. That's the first home run the Red Sox have hit in this series. Home run number 14 for Mookie Betts.
He's so quick with his hands that allows him to stay back a long time, and then recognize the pitch and then still get the barrel to the baseball. He's not a real big guy, but he's got quick wrists, a quick bat, and with one swing, 2-0 fastball, stays back, and that's 3 quick RBIs. Power and speed, that's what he has.
Andrew Benintendi takes a strike. Mookie Betts has a 4 RBI afternoon already. He's 2 for 3 with a home run. He now has driven in 47 runs. Andrew Benintendi 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Strike 2. Boston has not swept the Blue Jays in a 3-game series here at Rogers Center since June of 2011. And looking to accomplish that sweep here today. The Red Sox have won 4 of the 5 games against the Blue Jays so far this season. Another area of concern for the Blue Jays is that they are 10 games under 500 against the American League East teams this season. There's a changeup for the strikeout. Benintendi, the first out of the inning. Well, you talk about the Red Sox, and they've always been a home run hitting ball club. Not the case this season. A home run by Betts, just the 81st they've hit as a team. The Astros, Rays, and Yankees top 3 in the power department in the American League. But the Red Sox have the lead in the most important department in the American League. That's the standings.
Yeah, how about leading the American League East with 46 wins, last in home runs, but they have to create runs other ways.
Pedroia goes after the first pitch and grounds out to Barney.
And they do that. They do that with good at-bats, good 2-strike approach, a lot of team speed. And they've always hit a lot of doubles, and they're doing it again this year. Lots of doubles.
And the Red Sox, we mentioned they're at the halfway point. This is their 82nd game of the season. The Blue Jays are playing their 81st game. 2 outs, nobody on. Mitch Moreland, the batter. First baseman is 1 for 1 with a walk.
Also played well on the road, especially here in this ballpark. They have 126 wins in this ballpark, the most by any visiting team. So when they were a power team, they'd hit their share of home runs. They don't have that type of team this year, so they play the game fundamentally sound.
We mentioned the Blue Jays at the start of play today against the American League East, 13 and 23. 10 games under 500 in their own division. Only the Oakland A's have a worse intra-division record across major leagues. The A's are 13-25 against the AL West. You take a look at the records of the AL East teams against their division rivals. The Yankees have 20 wins. They have the best win percentage. The Orioles, look at the games they have played. They played 45 games against the East. Red Sox, this is just their 31st game. So second half of their schedule is going to be tilted heavily toward the AL East rivals.
You have any thoughts of winning your division, you better play well within your division, or you got no chance. Blue Jays have a chance over the next couple of weeks. Just finished playing Baltimore. We got this series against Boston. Go to New York. Play Boston right after the All-Star break.
Yeah, the Blue Jays after the All-Star break will have a road trip to Detroit, Boston, and Cleveland. Tough start to the second half of their season. 3-2 pitch to Moreland. Curveball hit on the ground. Smoke will flip to Biagini. Better hurry. Moreland gave it everything he had, busting it down the line, but that ends the inning. But Mookie Betts has had a big series against the Blue Jays. This swing, a 3-run home run, his 14th of the season, and Boston have a 5-1 lead. Experts available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. 5-1 Boston as the Blue Jays are set to bat in the bottom of the fourth inning. Drew Pomeranz, his second consecutive left-hander the Blue Jays have had to deal with, and it's been quite a turnaround after his first 7 starts.
529 earned run average for Pomeranz. We were doing a game in spring training where I believe he got injured in that game. Did not pitch, so it's just his 16th start of the season. His last 8, though, has been good. I've been talking to some of the Boston people. They're saying his cutter's been a little bit better. He's been using it a little bit in the right situations at the right time, using it a little bit better. He's always had the good fastball and the curveball.
Justin Smoke. Hey, Singleton came around to score the only Blue Jays run this afternoon. Boy, Smoke's in a good spot. He's tracking every pitch. Has a real good feel at the plate right now.
Again, look at the counts. And a good hitter's count again.
Didn't want to swing at that 2-0 hook. How much of Pomeranz's turnaround, as we were pointing out to his improved ERA, has to do with the fact he's watched Chris Sale pitch now for a whole season? Smokey continues to swing it, but this time he is robbed of a base hit by Devin Marrero at third.
We saw Pomerantz in spring training and threw 4 innings against the Blue Jays and gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. But now, like you said, he's had a chance to look at Chris Sale, and he's working quicker. He's not really straying from that mound too much. That pitching rubber, he's getting it. He's trusting the catcher, what he's putting down. And he's pitching much better.
Kendrys Morales walked his only time up. There's a curveball for strike 1. He's done that effectively early on in this game.
It's called picking up the pace and working quicker, keeping everybody engaged, throwing strikes, challenging hitters, and they all go hand in hand. Look at him. He's on the mound. He's ready to throw the ball again right after he got it back. Not shaking off his catcher.
Now, Pomerantz has started behind Sale all season long. Pomerantz made his first start on the 11th of April. So that can't hurt either. Seeing another left-hander pitch to a lineup ahead of you, then you get a chance to see what the hitters are doing. Plus, it also brings into focus Sale's approach. Doesn't shake off catchers, works quickly, uses his pitches to both sides of the plate, and changes speeds with everything.
And John Farrell was talking about today about how Sale sets the tone, and then everybody wants to get up to where he is, if you will. And there's a little friendly competition with the group that, hey, he goes out and throws a good game. I want to go out and throw a good game. Watch what I can do. And then there's Rick Porcello behind him, and then David Price behind him. I mean, you can get on a nice little roll if your starting pitchers do their thing, and that's what the Red Sox have been getting lately.
Fastball, swing and a miss, 2 away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Baltimore trying to claw their way back to 500. They start play today at 39-41, just ahead of the Blue Jays. Baltimore in 4th place. 4-run 3rd inning for the Orioles. Kevin Gausman has not allowed a hit through 3 innings. Ball and a strike to the Blue Jays shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki. Pomerantz had a good curveball all afternoon. He's been able to throw it for a strike to start at bats, and then he can pull down on a little bit harder and get that 2-strike curveball.
Kudos to Christian Vasquez getting that into the game early. Pitching ahead again.
Tried to use that cutter on the outside, but missed. Tulowitzki, base hit. A 2-out single. So Tulowitzki is 1 for 2. And that'll bring Steve Pearce to the plate. Pearce has the Blue Jays RBI. Came on a sac fly back in the 2nd.
It's like they wanted to do the same thing. Cut that ball on the outside part of the plate, but it comes back over the plate for Pomerantz, and Tulo warming up. Picks up his first hit of the afternoon. Just the 2nd hit for the Blue Jays. today.
Pierce goes after that first high fastball. Pierce hit a sac fly to deep right field to knock home Justin Smoke from third. RBI number 18 for Pierce. One and one.
There's 5 innings in his last start. Now, there was a reason why he just threw 5 innings in his last start. He had to deal with a long rain delay against Minnesota, but he wanted to give 5 innings, get a chance to win that game, which he did against the Twins.
Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout. Herrera on the warning track makes the catch, and the inning is over. Blue Jays leave a base runner, Tulowitzki, with a 2-out single. Now time for an update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio. Sanchez made another rehab start. His outing included 76 pitches at the span 4 1/3. He gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, walked 3, and struck out 4. And obviously very difficult to really get much out of those numbers other than the fact that he threw 76 pitches. I think the goal initially was to get him up to 90 pitches in this outing.
Yeah, 85, 90 pitches, and they got 76. He was consistently hitting mid-90s with his fastball, which was good. He used his curveball, he used his changeup, which is good. The most important thing that we have heard all week, especially after his first rehab outing, was there was no problem with that blister or his finger. So we'll just have to wait to see how that is after the game. All indications are that he's going to be here to pitch at some point in that Houston series when the team gets back from New York.
Off the end of the bat, Pierce coming over in the alley, waits on it and makes the play on Hanley Ramirez. 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th. Well, there's no question that the Blue Jays need Aaron Sanchez back, and they need him back in the same caliber of pitcher that he was last year. He won the ERA title, and I think Pete Walker knows that he is a big part of what they're trying to accomplish. And if you have him back for a healthy second half, then you like your chances of getting back into the race.
I like the way Jay Hapsman's throwing, Marcus Stroman. We've seen some good starts from Marco Estrada, but it all starts out on the mound. And you read those numbers, Buck, from his start this afternoon down in Buffalo. I don't take too much into those numbers because you're working on something. You're trying to, you know, you're not really pitching against major league competition. You're trying to get your arm in shape. You're making sure that your finger is okay. Hitters down there, they see some big league meat coming down there, and they want to make a name for themselves, don't they? So I don't worry about the numbers that Aaron had this afternoon.
As far as the hits and the runs given up and all of that.
I like to hear the 95, and I like that he's tried to mix in his curveball and his changeup, and the most important part, he came out ping free. That I haven't heard that yet, but I think we're going to.
78 pitches, 76 pitches, 40 strikes for Sanchez. So hopefully that'll be the last rehab start for him. I know Pete Walker would love to have him back. Just gives you another capable arm. This is popped up right side of the infield. Justin Smoke takes charge, and Jackie Bradley Jr. pops out.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. It's a great time to give your pulse a racing lesson.
The roof was open at the start of this game this afternoon. It has since been closed, and the thunderstorm that had rained on this ball game for a while as the roof was in the process of closing seems to have moved out of the city for the time being. Christian Vasquez jumps on the first pitch. Vasquez 0 for 2. The Red Sox, we mentioned they have a tandem behind the plate, and Vasquez and Sandy Leon, and John Farrell has got good production from them offensively. They have combined to hit 6 home runs and drive in 37 runs. Plus what they give them behind the plate, handling the pitching staff and doing a good job of throwing out base runners. There's a high breaking ball for strike 3. Vasquez strikes out for a second time. Biagini has retired 6 in a row since the Mookie Betts home run.
About Aaron Sanchez last time around. Well, it's a Sanchez bobblehead presented by Rogers. On July 9th, the first 20,000 in attendance will receive an Aaron Sanchez bobblehead. Then sit back and watch the Blue Jays host the Houston Astros at 1:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, as always, visit BlueJays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Of course, that is the unofficial end of the first half, just prior to the All-Star game. The July 9th date is significant. The Futures game will take place that night down in Miami, along with the celebrity softball game on Monday. It'll be the workout date and the home run contest for the All-Stars. And Tuesday, of course, the great All-Star game. And for the first time in 14 years, the outcome of the All-Star game will not determine home field advantage for the World Series. That's an improvement.
Hallelujah. Right? Hey, you mentioned the Futures game. If you have a chance to watch the Futures game, Blue Jays have 2 of them.
Yeah, they sure do.
2 players, one on each team, one on the World team and one on the U.S. team.
Dante Bichette will play on the U.S. team, and
Bo Bichette. Dante's the father.
Bo Bichette, and you're going to get used to that name because you're going to hear it a lot. And Vladimir Guerrero. So each will represent respective team. Guerrero playing for the World and Bichette playing for USA. And they're both in low A ball. Their first full season. And they have put up some numbers.
Big time numbers. I like how they mix up A ball players, AA players, AAA players. Those kids are just 18 and 19 years old. They're going to be playing with some of the established minor leaguers, some of the big prospects throughout baseball. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to get some exposure.
Evan Pillar hits a high fly ball. Benintendi coming over, and he'll make the catch. One away.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
We mentioned those 2 young players playing at Lansing for the Lugnuts in the Midwest League. Bo Bichette at the start of play today batting .395 with an OPS of 1.092. And Vladimir Guerrero batting .318. Bichette has driven in 48. Guerrero has driven in 41. And combined, they have hit 50 doubles. Those are big-time numbers in A-ball. Playing every day, and they're playing next to each other. Bichette's playing shortstop. Guerrero's playing third base. And that's the kind of player you could build around. Those 2 young players, probably 3 years away from being in the big leagues. But it's encouraging.
You know, you mentioned the home runs and the doubles and all that kind of stuff. What's going to happen when they start to fill out and get stronger? Those doubles are going to turn into what? Should turn into home runs.
Bo Bichette is 19. He turned 19 on the 5th of March, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is 18. And they're going to get exposed at the Futures game and an opportunity to put their skills on display. 2-2 to Darwin Barney. Foul ball. Dive by Linz. Long throw. Offline. Base hit for Darwin Barney. That's the first play that Lynn has had in 2 games playing at shortstop. He played the entire game Friday night. Did not have a chance. So this is the first time he's had a chance to make a play on a ball.
And that's odd playing shortstop. You get a lot of ground balls. He shows some range. Pretty strong arm. It just pulls Moreland off the bag. Lynn's got a triple, a bunch single, a nice play. See what I mean about Darwin Barney? He always seems to come up with something to help his club when he gets a start. He was on through an error his first time up. Now he has an infield hit.
Well, he's a scrapper. He's always been that kind of player. He's not been blessed with great physical skills to knock the ball out of the ballpark consistently. This guy won a Gold Glove playing second base for the Cubs. And he's just been one of those guys that knows his role. He's got to get on base, extend innings, hit the big guys to the plate. And here is one of those big guys. Jose is 0 for 1 with a walk. That ball was off the plate. You could hear Bautista react to the call by Tony Randazzo. The Blue Jays this season are just 6-14 against left-handed starters. A year ago, they were 24-20, but they have not been able to solve the lefty starters this season.
That is odd. An odd stat for the Blue Jays with all the right-handed power. And then you got some switch hitters in the lineup this year. John Gibbons was asked that the other day, and he doesn't have an answer. So I don't understand why. We've been good in the past against left-handed pitching.
In the dirt. Nice play by Vasquez to keep Barney at first. Pomeranz has thrown a lot of curveballs today. He's had pretty good command of that pitch all afternoon, and he wanted Bautista to chase that pitch in the dirt.
That's not happening. Jose's got such a great eye at the plate, laying off of that pitch. Teams have hit 300 against that curveball this year, which is a surprise. The lowest batting average against the pitch that he has the lowest batting average against that he throws a lot of is his fastball. Hitting just 207 against his fastball coming into this game.
Two and two now. Blue Jays batting in the bottom of the fifth. Pulled foul down the left side. Pitch was up and he jumped all over it. Boston has really held Bautista quiet so far this season. This is the sixth game that Blue Jays have faced Boston. Jose is 1 for 21 against the Red Sox. Last year he had 250 against them in 18 games, but he had 6 home runs and drove in 14. Little chopper up the third base line. This is trouble. An infield hit for Bautista. So back-to-back infield hits after 1 out.
Well, just like the Boston Red Sox a couple of innings ago when they bunted and kept the ball fair. Bautista's going to roll one out there in the no man's land and get himself an infield hit himself. Curveball, can't get on top of it. But he rolls it up the third base line, and it's not going to roll foul at all. It stays true. No chance for Marrero, who was playing deep. No chance for Pomeranz. The Blue Jays have something going again.
So here is Russell Martin, number 2 in the order. He's 0 for 2, ground out in the flyout. Lined out to right in the third. Bouncing ball. Lynn shovels to second. Pedroia to first. Double play. So the Blue Jays bounce into their second double play of the afternoon, and Pomeranz escapes the 5th inning without allowing a run. 5-1 Boston.
enjoying those comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone. They're guests from one of TD's community partners. And a reminder, the world's most prestigious cycling event, the Tour de France, is live on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now.
Tour de France had a little bad weather today. They were riding in the rain, and it was a treacherous situation, but hopefully everybody got through it unscathed. Good afternoon for an ice cream bar, Pat. I think I'd go for one of those.
Very nice.
Another good crowd on hand here on this final day of the Canada Day weekend. 46,672 yesterday. Zhu-Wei Lin, the shortstop, he's been impressive in the couple of games we have seen him play. Had a bunt single his last time up, tripled the first time up. I spoke to Brian Butterfield, their third base coach and infield instructor, and I asked him about Lin. He said, man, he does a lot of things that impress you. He's got good actions in the field, and he's got a little pop in his bat. They called him up from Double-A, and you could see the nod of approval from Butterfield after that last swing.
Well, it's taken some injuries to get him here into the big leagues. Rock Holtz has had a concussion, and he's only played in 6 games all season long. He started a rehab outing assignment just recently. Josh Rutledge, another infielder, he has been injured, and he is on the disabled list.
There's a line drive. This one's going to stay up for Pilar, and Lin lines out.
They also have Pablo Sandoval down in AAA trying to get himself back to the big leagues. This kid's got some opportunities now.
Played in 48 games in Double-A, hit over 300. And he had another good at bat. Acknowledged by his teammates. One away, we're in the 6th. Joe Biagini gave up a 3-run home run to Mookie Betts in the 4th. That's the last base runner for the Red Sox, as Biagini has retired 7 straight. Devin Marrero and Zhu-Wei Lin have scored 3 of the 5 Red Sox runs. Number 8 and number 9 in the batting order.
Yeah, the whole thing was set up. They had 2 beautiful bunts a couple of innings ago. Set it up for Mookie Betts. Lin also had a triple. Joe's up over 100 pitches. Now this is his, at least pitch wise, his longest performance. Most pitches he's thrown in a start this year. Getting stronger.
Little chopper foul at the plate. Well, you mentioned those pitch counts and how they're climbing for Biagini, and now Aaron Loup has gotten loose. He's standing by ready down in the bullpen if needed. Top of the 6th inning. Marrero with another base hit to right field. He stayed on that pitch and picks up another base hit, his 2nd of the day. Drive of the Game is brought to you by Honda, proud fan since 1977, an official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
4th inning, after a couple of bunt base hits, Mookie Betts steps up and gets a fastball out over the plate and hits his 14th home run of the season. He was on base 3 times yesterday, scored 3 runs, had 2 stolen bases. He's had it again today. He's had a stolen base, a single, and that home run, which is our drive of the game.
First pitch strike to Mookie Betts.
Sixth inning, and they roll back to that top of that lineup again. Betts gets a chance with a runner on base.
This ball is drilled down the left field line, and that is gone. Second home run of the day for Mookie Betts. And a 6 RBI day for the right fielder.
Told you he is quick on the inner half. This is his 9th career multi-home run game. His first since June the 14th. He had one at Philadelphia. And you try and throw that ball inside. He's so quick. 2 more runs for the Red Sox. They're now up to 7 again.
And that's going to be it for Joe Biagini. 7 runs on 10 hits, a pair of home runs surrendered to Mookie Betts, and he'll turn things over to the bullpen. Aaron Loup first up for the Jays. Assistant hitting coach here with the Red Sox, and what a day he has had, what a series he has had.
Yeah, he's been good against the Blue Jays in the past. Other times they've handled him, but he is so quick on the inner half. You can see that the swing plane, how his hands stay inside that baseball, and that allows him to keep that ball fair down the left field line. Big day for Betts. He was in big day yesterday. So Joe Biagini is out. Aaron Loup is in. There are his numbers in 36 games: 2-2, 418 earned run average. And he gets Andrew Benintendi.
First pitch breaking ball for strike one. Benintendi 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts against Biagini. It's that pitch in a good spot. Quickly 0-2.
Red Sox now have had 8 players, or 8 different times they've had multi-home run games. The last time was Xander Bogaerts about 2 weeks ago.
We mentioned they've only hit 82 home runs as a team, and Mookie Betts is their team leader with 15. For Betts, home runs number 4 and 5 here at Rogers Center. This is his 28th career game.
A couple of years ago, we had that stat where he had 20-something hits against the Blue Jays. Last year, they seemed to handle him a little bit better.
Last year, they held him to a 188 average. But you're right, 2 years ago, he had the most hits against the Blue Jays. Tough day for Joe Biagini. This was his 11th start. Red Sox got to him with 2 outs in the first inning. Back-to-back walks and an RBI base hit by Hanley Ramirez. Got the Sox off and running. Benintendi strikes out for a 3rd time. Loup gets him for the first at bat for Loup.
Couldn't solve Biagini, and he couldn't solve Loup that time.
Second baseman Dustin Pedroia, he drew that 2-out walk against Biagini in the first inning. Came around to score the first run of this game. 7 runs for the Red Sox for a third straight game. The only difference in this game, 2 home runs hit by Mookie Betts. He scored 7 runs Friday, 7 runs on Saturday without benefit of a home run.
And he came into this series, I saw a quote from him that he felt like his first half hasn't been very good. He says, I can do a lot better. I know there's more in there. So maybe he's primed for a big second half.
Well, you know what's really interesting about Mookie Betts? Yeah, he hit 2 home runs today. Now he has 15. 13 of those 15 home runs have come on the road. And he plays at Fenway Park. So I think his evaluation of his first half is right on the money. There's a lot of room for improvement for Mookie Betts, and he is an MVP candidate every year.
Yes.
Pedroia takes it outside. 3-1 now. Loop walks Pedroia. Third walk issued by the Blue Jays this afternoon. 21st walk issued by the Jays in the series. Chris Sale was dominant yesterday, improved his record to 11-3. And yeah, when you win, you have a lot of fun. Red Sox have won 4 of their last 5 games coming into this game this afternoon. It's Moreland, the first baseman. 1-4-2.
They're on the beginnings of a long road trip. The Boston Red Sox, that'll take them right up to the All-Star break.
From here, they go to Texas for 3 and then finish up in Tampa Bay with a 4-game series. So the inning is over. 2 more runs for Boston. The Blue Jays. Big bats coming up in the bottom of the 6th. Josh Donaldson, then Justin Smoke, and Kendrys Morales. Boston with a 7-1 lead. Tomorrow afternoon on Sportsnet, the Baltimore Orioles will be in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers. It all starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's 11 a.m. Pacific time. Wade Miley will go to the mound against the Brewers. And Milwaukee hanging in there in that NL Central. Milwaukee has a 3-game lead over the Cubs. Brewers have won 3 in a row. Baltimore has lost 2 in a row. So more baseball tomorrow afternoon. Check it out. We will be in New York for the evening game tomorrow. First of 3 against the Yankees.
Are you a Brewer believer?
You know what? I think I am.
Are you?
I think I am. I like what they have done. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and you know, I really find it interesting that Travis Shaw is putting up such big numbers.
We saw Travis at the beginning of the season. That was the home opener for the Blue Jays, and he said, I'm going to like hitting in Milwaukee, getting a chance to play every day. That ball really flies there, and he's having a big first half. He should go to the All-Star game.
Because he got 17 home runs, I believe, and
50 something. I saw 56 the other day.
Yeah. He leads the major league third baseman in slugging percentage. And what do the Red Sox need? A third baseman. Sandoval has hit fewer home runs in 3 years than Travis Shaw has hit this year.
And remember, he was part of the Red Sox organization.
Yeah, he was the third baseman. They traded him to Milwaukee for Tyler Thornburg, who's out for the season. Donaldson takes his strike. It's now 3-2. Well, Blue Jays got to get something going against Drew Pomeranz. Donaldson, Smoke, and then Morales. Curveball hit hard. One hopper to the shortstop. Lynn goes to first. One away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Nothing. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the second against Luis Severino of the Yankees, and he's been throwing the ball very well lately. Mike Fiers is on the mound for the Astros. Marwin Gonzalez. He is going to go to the All-Star game.
Yes.
As a utility player. He hit his 14th home run today. Gonzalez has 45 RBIs, and he has played all over the field. What a terrific job he has done.
I think he scored the game-winning run yesterday in the 8th inning for that team. They're deep. You have a chance to either tune in or come on down and watch them here at Rogers Center when the team gets back from New York. Those should be some good games.
Gonzalez has started at first base, second base, third base, shortstop, left field, and right field.
And he's raking.
And he's raking. He is the Houston Astros version of Ben Zobrist, and he's doing a great imitation. Justin Smoke, 1 for 2. He lined out in the 4th and smokes this ball to the alley. This ball is up against the wall. Justin Smoke will jog into second with his second hit of the afternoon, his 11th double of the season. He just keeps them coming.
You can't get him out when he's batting right-handed. You used to be able to throw him breaking balls in the dirt, and he would swing over the top of it. This is a breaking ball from Drew Pomeranz, and he stays back nicely. He's got to be getting up close to 400 from the right side after this double, ringing double. Stays back, sees it clearly, lets the thing break right into his zone, and then lets it go. He was robbed of a hit last time on a line drive right at the third baseman, or he'd be 3 for 3.
Kendrys Morales. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He takes a strike. Ball on the strike. 1-1. Blue Jays got a long road back. They trailed by 6. Donaldson grounded out. Smoke doubled. Now Morales trying to cash in here. Cut on and missed as Pomeranz gets ahead now 1-2.
Morales is hitting .319 against left-handers this year. He's hit 5 home runs versus left-handed pitching this season.
As you see his numbers in these run-producing situations, he's hitting under 200 with runners in scoring position. Two and two now. Well, you mentioned Smoke's average as a right-handed hitter. He's 2 for 3 today. He is now 28 for 69. That's a .406 batting average.
So he is up over 400. And remember, he got robbed of a hit by that fine play by Marrero at third base. You know, when you're locked in, you want to play every single day. You want to come up every inning. And right now, he looks good at the plate.
Outside, 3-2. Smoke is going to go to his first All-Star game. There's no question about that. The only question is to whether or not he'll be the starter.
Yeah, elected or selected. We'll know tonight.
Yeah, that'll all be determined, and it'll have to be announced tonight on the selection show. And when you look at his season, 22 homers, 52 RBIs. He now has 11 doubles. He has 82 hits in 80 games. His career high in hits 108 in 2013. Morales knew it. Tried to deflect that inside fastball. He is called out on strikes, and now the Blue Jays are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position today. And it continues to be a problem for the Blue Jays. Runners in scoring position this season in the American League. The Orioles, the Astros, and the Red Sox top of the heap, and then the Blue Jays are bringing up the rear, hitting .223 as a team, including 0 for 5 this afternoon.
This way to break out of that is just go up there and just start swinging. Have a plan. Go up there and not have a plan, but looks like at least today there's a lot of guess hitting going on because a fastball like that last one was right down the middle. Just see it and let it go, and don't worry about the average.
Kevin Pillar took a fastball down the middle in the second for strike 3. Tulowitzki has lined out and singled. One and one now. Pomeranz just 3 strikeouts compared to 11 yesterday for Chris Sale. Different type of pitcher, obviously, but he has certainly done a good job. 1 run on 5 hits. The only run coming in on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Steve Pearce in the second. Foul chip into the catcher's mitt. 1-2 on Tulowitzki.
I hope he's okay after that swing. It looked like he dropped the bat like something might have hurt him on that swing. I see him looking at his left wrist as he finishes that one. That wrist bent back from the bat and trying to shake it out.
Chopped foul up the third baseline. Well, things don't get any easier for the Blue Jays. Remember, we had mentioned the Red Sox have not swept a 3-game series here at Rogers Center since June of 2011. After this game, the Blue Jays will go to New York to take on the Yankees, and they'll meet up with Masahiro Tanaka in the opener. It'll be a Monday night game followed by 2 day games at Yankee Stadium. 4th of July on Tuesday, and the series finale Wednesday afternoon, then right back here for the Houston Astros. Up the middle, Pedroia near the bag at second, throws on the run, and that ends the inning. Blue Jays now 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position as we go to the 7th. Afternoon, they gave up a run in the first inning on an RBI single by Hanley Ramirez, and the Red Sox continue to pound out double-digit hits. 3rd time in this series they've had 10 hits. He went 5 1/3, 105 pitches, 7 earned runs charged to Biagini, all the runs earned, and now Fred Sparkman will take over after Aaron Luke got a couple of outs to end the 6th.
Get him right back out there. Sparkman threw on Friday night, 2/3 of an inning. He got the Blue Jays out of that 11th inning. He gave up a hit, but no runs. I had a walk. I had a chance to talk to him yesterday about that. He said he felt good. He said, I was a little nervous when I got up into that bullpen. I was nervous delivering my first pitch and then coming out onto the field. I was a little excited. I thought he threw the ball well. He says, I could have done better. Nerves got the best of him a little bit, but now right back out there again on Sunday.
John Farrell shaking the hand of the Red Sox starter Drew Pomeranz. That indicates he is done for the day. Another good start for the Red Sox. 6 innings, 5 hits, a single run allowed by Pomeranz, and he has a 6-run lead. Hanley Ramirez, he drove in the first Red Sox run with a 2-out single to center field in the first inning. Yeah, I spoke to Sparkman about his first big league experience. He said they got me up early in the game and I was a nervous wreck. My heart was pounding and I was jumping toward home plate, and I thought, oh man, this is not going to go well. Then they sat him down and used a couple of other pitches before he came into the game late. He said that helped me a lot because I got that first experience in a big league situation out of the way. I was a little bit calmer when I came in for my first game.
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball well. He's got a pitcher's body, got a nice easy delivery. He's popping that fastball into the mid-90s. He was starting down in the minor leagues for the Blue Jays so they could get some innings from him.
This ball is looped into center. Pilar with a dive, and he can't make the catch. Ramirez has his 2nd hit of the afternoon. Sounded like he may have broken his bat. A little looper that dropped safely in center field. Kevin Pilar laid out, but it was beyond his reach.
And the fans are giving him an ovation on the effort. You can see straight away. And there's all that all-out effort again. It just comes up short. And Ramirez has a multi-hit game.
So Hanley Ramirez had a big series. He came in here scuffling a bit, and he has put together another multi-hit game. Had 3 hits in the game yesterday. He has 7 hits in the 3-game series. Jackie Bradley Jr. is 1 for 3.
They are relentless. The Red Sox putting pressure on that pitcher every inning.
.35 hits so far for the Red Sox in 3 games. Just 2 home runs, both coming in this game today, both off the bat of Mookie Betts. In case you're not familiar with the Rule 5 acquisition, the Rule 5 is a draft that Major League teams protect 40 players on their 40-man roster, and then players are exposed to other teams in that Rule 5 draft. If they're not on a Major League roster, they can be drafted by another organization. That was the case with Biagini last year and Sparkman this year. Donaldson throws quickly, but not nearly in time to get Jackie Bradley Jr. So a bloop and an infield hit, couple of base hits here in the 7th.
Happy 150th to our home and native land. Honda, proudly driving Canadians since 1973.
Sunday of the great Canada Day weekend here is the Red Sox looking to sweep the Blue Jays in this 3-game series. 12 hits for 3 straight games now, and 7 runs in all 3 games.
Few infield hits. That's their 3rd infield hit today. Everything finding a hole for the Red Sox. Sparkman's thrown some good pitches, and I mean an out to show for it. You were talking about the Rule 5 draft and Glenn Sparkman, and I think you have to take the long view or look at the big picture. You thought enough of him to draft him in the Rule 5, so you got to take a look at him at the big league level. If they try to send him down, you have to offer him back to the team that you picked him from, or you can ask, you know, maybe work out a trade and say, hey, you know, we'd like to keep him. Is there anybody in our organization that we can swap so we could keep him? Kansas City could use some young pitching. They would probably take him back.
Yeah, he signed originally with the Royals and spent the entirety of his minor league career in Kansas City. He signed in 2013. Last year, pitching in 4 different leagues, he was 2-7 with a .567 earned run average and a total of 16 starts. There's another little looper that's going to drop in right field. Vasquez has his first hit of the afternoon. They haven't hit him hard, but they've hit him.
Yeah, they found the holes against him. Look at the strikeouts that he had in the minor leagues. He had 250 strikeouts in less than 240 innings. I think that's what the Blue Jays like, what they see in him. Right now, he's not getting any luck.
So Pete Walker out to help Sparkman get out of this jam. Bases loaded, nobody out. Sparkman is the 3rd pitcher to work this afternoon. Biagini went 5 1/3. Luke went 2/3 of an inning. Hanley Ramirez had a bloop base hit into center. Jackie Bradley Jr. bounced one off home plate, had an infield hit, and then Christian Vasquez blooped one into right. Nobody's hit it hard this inning, but they've got the bases loaded and nobody out. Zhu Wei Lin. And he's had a good day at the plate. He is 2 for 3. He lined out his last time up, lined out to center field. He has tripled and scored. He has a bunt single, came around to score. Sparkman quickly ahead, 0-2.
Blue Jays are playing Lin to left field like he's going to inside out a ball. Remember, his triple went to right center field. Pulled a pitch from Biagini into the gap in right center field.
One and two now. Boston with a 7-1 lead. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 13-5.
A little comebacker right here with a 1-2-3 double play. He's got all 4 pitches, just like a starter.
And strikes out. He waves that pitch off the plate outside. That's the first out of the inning. And that's a big strikeout for Sparkman now with 1 out. There's the possibility of a double play. Get him out of this.
Throw that ball out. That's his first big league strikeout as he runs that fastball away.
Back for strike one. 95. Best fastball of the afternoon.
That's an easy cheese, as they call it right there. Nice delivery. Put it in a good spot. Stay after this guy. Marrera's had some balls to right field already in this series.
One and one now. Blue Jays anxious for a double play ball. The Jays have grounded into 2 double plays. The Red Sox, they have not hit into a double play. They've hit into 3 double plays so far in this series, but none this afternoon. Marrero continues to target the right side of the field and an inside out swing, just trying to fight off that pitch.
He's had some problems with the breaking ball. I was talking about that earlier, that he has a little exercise there. He goes down to the cage and has 2 rounds of 40 pitches each, where he's got the pitching machine throwing the breaking balls just to recognize the off-speed pitch, get his mechanics right to shoot that ball to right field. Also trying to determine if that slider is going to stay on the plate.
Fly ball deep to right. Bautista was shallow. It's over his glove, off the turf, and bounces out of play. So Devin Marrero will be credited with a ground rule double and 2 RBIs, and it's 9-1.
And it looked like a breaking ball again, and again he goes to right field with a little pop. He's been on base 3 times today. He has fielded everything the Blue Jays have hit at him at third base today, and he's chipped in with the bat. There's the slider, and that's why you go down to the cage to recognize if that ball is going to be on the plate or not. You practice it, you get it into games, and you deliver. 2 more RBIs.
He's driven in 5 in the 3-game series. And remember, he wasn't in the starting lineup today. Xander Bogaerts was scratched just before the start of this game.
Look how this is set up for Mookie Betts. He's already driven in 6. He is the last player to have a 3-home run game for the Boston Red Sox.
the changeup that caught the bottom of the strike zone. Six RBIs, a season high for Mookie Betts.
Drove in 8 runs one game last year. That was against Arizona.
On the 14th of August in a 16-2 win, he was 4 for 6 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. This is his second highest RBI game of his career. He's had 3 5 RBI games. This is the first time he's driven in 6. And he's going to add to that. Vasquez scores, and here comes Morel right behind him. And how about another 8 RBI game for Mookie Betts? Ties his career high.
And he's probably going to get another at bat later on. Set up nicely. Once that ball bounced out of play and became a ground rule double, second and third in just 1 out, and he's going to cash him in again. Stays back. He's got great hand-eye coordination. He's a great bowler. There's the breaking ball. Stays back. Head stays down, and he sends it screaming back up the middle with some backspin. What a day.
A career high tying 8 RBIs for Mookie Betts. 11-1 Boston. Andrew Benintendi 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Everybody has at least 1 hit except Andrew and Dustin Pedroia. The on-deck hitter.
Pedroia has walked twice and scored a run. He walked with 2 outs and got the Red Sox scoring started. Scored on a Hanley Ramirez 2-out RBI single in the first. Benintendi flares this one to left, and that bounces past Pierce, and it's going to go all the way into the corner. Mookie Betts comes around third, and he's going to score. And Benintendi gets in the hit column. Pierce had that ball bounce over his glove, and it went all the way into the corner in left field, and Betts came all the way around from first to score.
Ball does some tricky thing once it hits the carpet. Inside out swing for Benintendi. It's another extra base hit for Andrew. It slices away from Pierce. That allows Betts to score. It's now 11-1. The Red Sox came with their hitting shoes on in this series.
12 runs on 16 hits this afternoon. 5 runs in so far here in the 7th. Dustin Pedroia hacking away.
I said 11-1. I meant 12-1 now. 16 hits for the Red Sox.
Then Sparkman gave up 3 straight hits to start the inning, then struck out Lynn, and then 3 more hits. Single, double, double. Pedroia fouls it back. Boston came in here, and we talked about, well, they don't hit many home runs. Well, they've outscored the Blue Jays 26-6 so far in the 3-game series and have hit 2 home runs. Chris Sale mentioned it after the game yesterday. He said this team's going to be a lot of fun when we get rolling. But I think they're rolling.
They're getting healthy. Eduardo Rodriguez, another one of their starters, going to make a rehab start.
Yeah, he was in the initial rotation to start the season. He's been injured and had a rehab start. Didn't go so well, but he'll make another one. And maybe even more. But you see the standings at the start of play today. Boston a 2-game lead over the Yankees. Tampa Bay 4 back. Baltimore 6.5, and the Blue Jays in danger of going 9.5 games back of the front-running Red Sox. Pedroia shoots it to right. Bautista a long run. That's a fair ball, and it bounces into the seats for a ground rule double. Benintendi will jog home. Pedroia has his first hit. That's the 3rd double of the inning. And that's going to be it for Glenn Sparkman. A tough outing for the rookie Sparkman. Sparkman gets just 1 out. Jeff Beliveau will come on. Jeff Beliveau making his 11th appearance. Glenn Sparkman recording just 1 out. He's charged with 6 runs to this point on 7 hits. Dustin Pedroia at second is Sparkman's responsibility.
3rd game of the series. 3rd time Jeff Beliveau has pitched. Jeff pitched a 3rd of an inning yesterday, had a strikeout. That was against Jackie Bradley. Also threw a 3rd of an inning on Friday. I'm going to have to stretch him out a little bit here. Finish this one and 1 more. Save some of those bullets for that Yankee series.
Moreland cuts on the first pitch and misses. The Yankee series begins tomorrow night in New York. Marcus Stroman at 8-4 goes up against Masahiro Tanaka at 6-7. Strike 2. Breaking ball in there. Moreland fights it off to stay alive. Moreland walked in the first and had a single in the 3rd. That single snapped an 0 for 11 streak for Moreland.
And an 0 for yesterday. Snapped the streak that he had 12 straight games getting on base against the Blue Jays.
Another foul out of play.
Check that was on Friday night. He had an 0 for 6. Just the second time in his career they had an 0 for 6. Walking just a little bit more this year than he has in his career.
And it aired 1-2 now to Mitch Moreland, the Red Sox first baseman. The Red Sox will leave Toronto and fly to Texas to play the Rangers for a 3-game series. In that series, it'll be Porcello, Price, and Pfister, the starting rotation for the 3 games against the Rangers. And then the Red Sox will wrap up with a 4-game series in St. Pete to take on the Rays. That ball hit right off the knob of his bat. A foul ball. Pitch up and in, and he was just bailing out, trying to get out of the way.
He wanted to go to that high fastball once again. Russell, you can see how high Russell is, but right off the bottom of that bat. We've seen a few hitters already this year get hit with pitches like that on their hands.
Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, same type of approach. They just exposed their hands to that pitch, and both those guys had fractured wrists. 2-2 now.
"33 games in 34 days for the Red Sox. They're getting themselves into a nice little groove offensively.
Fair ball. Smoke will go to the bag and beat Moreland.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
You see that big rubber duck in the background. That has created a lot of attention around the harbor front. Hanley Ramirez, he has really had a good series. Ramirez with 2 hits this afternoon, been on base 3 times. His average up to 256. Ramirez 7 hits in the series. 7 for 15 against the Blue Jays.
All it takes is 1 hit here and there, and all of a sudden you take off. He had a 3-0 pitch the other day for a home run. It looks like he's found his groove.
Ball on the strike now. This is the one guy that they think can really be the offensive force to complement Mookie Betts. A guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, a guy that's hit for an average in the past, his former batting champ. He just hasn't gotten it going yet at the plate.
I know they're counting on him. And there you go.
High and deep to left, and Hanley Ramirez, his 8th hit of the series is a home run.
He's had seasons of 33, 29, 24. Last year he hit 30 home runs and drove in 111 runs for Boston. This is just going to be his 12th home run of the season. And it's a long drive. He started the inning with a single and scored, and now he's got a 2-run home run to make it 15-1. Fastball inside, Ramirez is warming up.
Yes, he is, and that's the guy they kind of look to say, okay, we're going to get going offensively. We need Hanley to step it up, and has he ever? 8 hits in 3 games in this series. As the Red Sox are going to sweep the Blue Jays in this series, it is now 15-1. Breaking ball, Bradley swings and misses. It's a ball and a strike to the center fielder. 15 runs, the second highest output for the Red Sox this season. They scored 17 runs on the 7th of May in Minnesota against the Twins. 18 hits is the season high. They had 17 hits against the Rays at Fenway Park on the 16th of April. So they have had their hitting shoes on for 3 straight days here.
Had a big series against the Minnesota Twins before they came here. Minnesota was in first place at the time. They took 3 out of 4 from them.
42 hits in 3 games for the Red Sox in this series. 8 runs in this inning. And there's another base hit. Jackie Bradley Jr. just serves it to left field.
John Farrell was talking about him the other day, saying what a month of June he has had. He's really come along as a hitter. Not afraid to use him against left-handers because he goes the other way so well. I mean, that's how you, with 2 strikes, take a breaking ball the other way. And he is climbing towards 300. Before that base hit, he was up to 281.
9 hits in the inning for Boston. Christian Vasquez has a single. Bradley has 2 hits in the inning.
That's a season high for them. Most hits in an inning, they had done it 2 times. 7. Did that in the 9th inning against Minnesota, that game you were talking about.
Christian Vasquez. So Hanley Ramirez has a single and a 2-run home run this inning. Jackie Bradley has 2 singles. And now DeMarlo Hale and John Gibbons trying to figure out what they can do here and save some of those bullpen innings for the upcoming Yankees series. Not wanting to go any deeper into their pen.
You might see a position player try to finish this one out. Darwin has been a pitcher before.
Well, we talk about Mookie Betts and what a day he has had offensively. 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, and when you look at the 8 RBIs from the leadoff spot, that it ties him with 4 other players for the most RBIs from a leadoff spot since 1920. Breaking ball to Smoke, and that will end it. Tough inning for the Blue Jays. 8 runs on 9 hits for Boston, and they have a 15-1 lead. on. Enter for your chance to cheer on the Blue Jays in New York City with WestJet. Go to BlueJays.com/WestJet contest to enter. Now time for the schedule ahead, brought to you by WestJet. And as we mentioned, the Blue Jays will wrap up this 3-game series against the Red Sox and fly to New York. Monday is a night game, 2 day games on July 4th and 5th. And then right back here to Rogers Center for a 4-game series against the front-running Houston Astros out of the American League Central Division. That'll wrap up the artificial first half as we take the 4 days off for the All-Star break. And then the Blue Jays will pick things up again in Detroit against the Tigers.
Another pitching change for the Boston Red Sox. Drew Pomerantz's afternoon is over after 6 innings. Fernando Abad, this is the first time that we have seen Abad. Last August, the Red Sox sent one of their pitching prospects by the name of Pat Light to Minnesota for Abad, and he's done a nice job out of the bullpen. 25 games this year, 342 earned run average. He's sneaky with that fastball. Sinker and a 4-seamer, curveball to changeup. He'll throw that 4-seamer and curveball to lefties and a change and sinker to righties.
Steve Pearce, Kevin Pillar, and Darwin Barney for the Blue Jays. Abad misses with the first pitch. Pearce has the only RBI for the Blue Jays this afternoon. It came on a 2nd inning sacrifice fly and he drove home Justin Smoak.
Abad's got a good arm. He's got a power arm out of that bullpen. Red Sox bullpen has been fortified with some strong arms. Remember in the past it was Uehara and Tozawa, some guys that had trick pitches. I'll call them trick pitches. This year got a little bit more fastball, a little bit more power as the Blue Jays look like they're making some moves.
There's a strike. It's 3-1. DeMarlo Hale, he's in charge of that lineup card, trying to keep things straight, and you would expect that some of the regulars are going to come out of this ball game. He's making some changes in that lineup. On the ground, Lynn at shortstop. 1 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. That's right, it was raining here at Rogers Center while the roof was open. The game started under bright blue skies and 26 degrees, but then the rain showers came, and before they could get the roof completely closed, it rained.
Yeah, you saw that in some of those highlights right there. It was bright sunshine splashing all over the field. It was a beautiful start to the afternoon.
Kevin Pillar pulls it foul, about ahead quickly, 0-2. Pillar hanging tough, trying to get something going here. Kevin took a called 3rd strike in the 2nd and flied out the left in the 5th. All you can do doing games like this is try to battle your way through it. There are no mercy rules in the major leagues.
Yeah, there's not that 10-run rule that you have when you're younger. As a hitter, you just want to just keep battling. Maybe in games like this, the pressure's off, that you might find something. I've played in games before in this one way or the other. Either you're up by a lot or you're down by a lot. And as a hitter, you might not be feeling it, all of a sudden you step up into that batter's box and you find something and you start using that. So you just keep grinding away, hope for good things.
Off the plate outside, 2-2 now to Pilar.
That's a good take. The flip side of that, the pitchers, you don't want any earned run average, any earned runs. You want that earned run average to stay right where it is, so you have to continue to make good pitches. I remember there's a swing and a miss on a changeup. I remember playing in the minor leagues and playing in games like this, and the pitchers were throwing breaking balls, trying to get outs, and other players saying, that's it, you're up by 12, 14 runs, challenge somebody. You know what? They got an earned run average. They want to get hitters out.
Yeah, they're going to look at their stat line and say, okay, well, he gave up 3 earned runs. They're not going to notice that he was ahead by 12 when he did that.
Now, when contract comes around, they're not looking at what was happening in certain games. They're looking at the bottom line.
Darwin Barney has been on base twice. He reached on an error in the 3rd and then had an infield single in the 5th. The Blue Jays will fall to 6-15 against left-handed pitching this season, against left-handed starters. They just haven't been able to solve left-handers. Yesterday, Chris Sale, he's having a Cy Young caliber start to his season.
That is a mystery because over the last couple of years, they have pounded left-handed pitching.
Ezequiel Carrera has a bat, and if Barney can reach base, he will bat for Jose Bautista. Two and two now. The Blue Jays coming into this game have hit 174 in the first 5 games of this 6-game homestand. They've scored a total of 10 runs in the previous 5 games, and today they've scored just 1 run on 5 hits. The offense just continues to struggle. Troy Tulowitzki has 1 of the 5 hits this afternoon. And as you would expect, given the season he's had, Justin Smoak has 2 of the 5 hits.
Yeah, and robbed of another hit. Could easily be 3 for 3. Blue Jays just have not been able to put innings together where multiple hits, multiple walks, clutch base hits to get those crooked numbers that you need up on that board.
3-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. Pedroia at second, and that'll do it. So we have played 7 innings. It's all Boston 15-1 as they're in line to sweep the 3-game series.
Your very own Derby competition in the official MLB.com Home Run Derby game on the App Store and Google Play. Swing for the fences against more than 10 million players from around the world as your favorite Derby All-Star. Download Home Run Derby for free today. To the 8th inning we go. Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. It is the 8th inning, and it has been all Red Sox. The Blue Jays have made some defensive changes. Luke Maile takes over behind the plate for Russell Martin. Brian Goins comes in to play third base as Josh Donaldson has been taken out of this ball game, and Ezekiel Carrera takes over for Jose Bautista in right.
First three batters next inning. You get a shot at the Red Sox.
Zhu-Wei Lin has had a nice game. Lin has scored a couple of runs. He tripled, has a bunt single. He is 2 for 4. Jeff Beliveau got the final 2 outs to end the 7th inning. Lynn, a third hit. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Luis Severino roughed up at the hands of the Astros. 5 runs on 8 hits over 4 innings. Mike Fiers left that game after 4 innings. Makes you think maybe he injured himself. 4 innings, 2 hits. He walked 4. He threw 105 pitches. No, it's just a pitch count thing.
Pitch count?
5 pitches in 4 innings.
4 innings?
Yeah.
4+ innings?
4 innings.
It matters.
No.
Do they need to make a trade and get a starter? I mean, if they want to be the super team and the team everybody wants to go after in the American League, the favorites, do they have to go out and get somebody?
Sharply hit to Tulowitzki. Barney at second. Back to first. Double play. Marrero bounces into a double play. Yeah, that's a good question. And, you know, obviously they have some concerns on their disabled list. It's a tough situation. They've got some guys on the disabled list right now, including Dallas Keuchel and Colin McHugh, Charlie Morton, 3 starting pitchers on the DL. So I'm sure they're looking around to see what might be available.
I know McHugh is getting ready to start a rehab this week. He's been out all season long with an elbow problem. Maybe you get him back, let's say in August. That's like making a trade.
Yeah, it is.
Getting a fresh arm. This guy's won 16 games before.
Well, here is the man of the hour, no question about it. Look at those numbers. 4 for 5, 2 home runs, 2 singles, a stolen base, 8 RBIs, and he scored 3 runs. Mookie Betts has tied his career high with those 8 runs driven in.
Just look at the series that he had. Scored a run on Friday night. He was on base 4 times, had a double, an infield hit, 2 walks. Yesterday he walked 3 times, scored 3 runs, 2 stolen bases, and then the numbers that you see this afternoon.
Fly ball to center. Pilar hustling back at the track and makes the catch. Mookie Betts has retired. Now time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2017 Honda Rebel. Live your life. Love your ride.
It's been quite a weekend here for the fans over this Canada Day 3-day weekend. Today, 46,696, another sellout. The 9th sellout of the season for the Blue Jays, and they continue to lead the American League in attendance. The Blue Jays have done a terrific job of attracting the fans to the ballpark. Ezequiel Carrera will get his first plate appearance. He entered the game defensively in right field for Jose Bautista. .287, 5-15 for Carrera on the year. You know what? If I'm hitting and it's 15-1, a guy throws me 2 breaking balls, I'm hollering at him.
That's what I mean.
Look at Carrera looking like, come on, man.
That's what I mean. He's trying to protect his earned run average. He doesn't want to give in to him.
Carrera swings at a fastball, bounces out to first.
So I get it. I wouldn't be happy if I was hitting. He threw me a couple of breaking balls. I'd say something. Scared? Challenge somebody, right?
Luke Maile will bat for the first time as well. He took over behind the plate for Russ Martin.
So does Justin Smoke get elected tonight, or does he get selected?
That's interesting. You know what? We always have a great audience, and a lot of fans across Canada have the ability to vote for Justin Smoke. I think he's going to sneak in as an elected starter.
I do too.
I think he's going to start at first base in Miami. First time in the All-Star game, and well deserved. You know, you look at the makeup of the All-Star. The team has changed a little bit. There's only 32 players now. I think they've knocked it down by 2. And the outcome of the game will not determine home field advantage for the first time, I believe, in 15 years. But some of the prominent players you talk about, first baseman Smoke, Yonder Alonso, Logan Morrison.
Logan Morrison's having a great first half.
He's had a great year. Second base, Altuve and Scope. A couple of good players.
Altuve would be my choice.
Mainly it's a high fly ball to right. Shortstops, this is a tough one. Xander Bogaerts here with the Red Sox. He's having an all-star caliber season. And Carlos Correa, the Astros, and Elvis Andrus is having a big season for Texas.
Yes, he is. He is.
Who's your third baseman?
My third baseman in the American League. I got a lot to choose from. I've got Manny Machado, although he's not having
an all-star season.
The all-star type of season that we have seen in the past. I like Jose Ramirez for the Cleveland Indians.
Ramirez is having a big season, batting .319 at the start of play today. How about Miguel Sano?
Sano's having a big year.
58 ribbies, 20 home runs. That's tough to beat. Catchers? There's 2 pretty obvious selections behind the plate, I believe.
What's Gary Sanchez doing? He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's an all-star in my mind, along with Sal Perez.
Sal Perez is having a big year.
Kansas City. How about in the outfield? Start New York.
Yep. Here come the judge. Makes a lot of sense to me.
George Springer.
Trout, I know, is up there in his votes.
Ryan Goins strikes out quickly. The Blue Jays go quietly. We will continue the all-star discussion when we come back. Game homestand against Baltimore and Boston, a couple of AL East rivals. They began the series 36-39, but they didn't pitch well. The opponent's batting average over 300. They only hit 176, and the run differential 23 in just 6 games. I mean, that's a large deficit to overcome.
Yeah, John Gibbons has always said you got to hit if you're going to win in the American League East, and the Blue Jays just haven't been able to hit. They've had some pitching at times. Jay Happ had a good outing and didn't have much to show for it. So Dominic Leone trying to wrap this one up. Dominic for the 32nd time into the ball game. He will face Benintendi, Pedroia, and Moreland.
Well, the Red Sox certainly have announced their presence with authority in this 3-game series. They have taken a stranglehold on first place. First time they will have swept the Blue Jays in a series here at Rogers Center since June of 2011. They're looking to improve to 47-35.
We were mentioning their schedule as they head to the All-Star break. Tom Farrell was telling me that they have a doubleheader coming out of the break after a rainout earlier this season. Right after the All-Star break, they play New York
on the 16th. A Sunday doubleheader and a day-night doubleheader, 105 and 8:08. That looks like an ESPN Sunday night game.
How about that?
Wow.
A day-night doubleheader coming out of the break, and then the Blue Jays roll into town for 4 big games.
A 4-game series for the Blue Jays at Fenway Park beginning Monday, July 17th. And then, after that day game on Thursday, the Red Sox will jump on a plane and fly across the country to take on the Angels and the Mariners. A 6-game West Coast swing just after the All-Star break. Andrew Benintendi with a 3-2 count facing Dominic Leone. Fouled out of play. The Yankees are losing to the Astros, so the Red Sox could move to 3 games ahead of New York and 9.5 games ahead of the Blue Jays. Another foul that's going to be out of play into the seats.
Benintendi got on the hit board last time up with a double. Not a lot of moves that the Red Sox can make here late in this ball game to get some of these regulars off their feet. Remember, Bogaerts was in the rotation of the lineup, and now he is out. So they have a 3-man bench.
And Xander Bogaerts was in the lineup and was scratched just before the start of this game. I mean, literally 15 minutes before the start of the game with left groin tightness. And he did not play on Friday. He was back in there yesterday, but had to be scratched before the start of this game. Dustin Pedroia, the second baseman, taking all the way, takes ball 1. Over Barney into right field. Carrera plays it back in. Benintendi stops at second base.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Walk and a base hit, and we were talking about the American League All-Star team, and we hadn't completed the outfield. Aaron Judge, of course, he's a lock to play in that All-Star game. How about George Springer of the Astros?
Yep.
Mookie Betts, of course. Avisail Garcia of the White Sox. He'll probably be there along with Justin Upton, who's having a good year.
Yeah, every team has to be represented. So that's where I think you start. Teams that are not having that good of a year, you start there and find their best player. And then you go from there. Chicago, that's why I think Garcia makes it. Avisail Garcia's, boy, he has hit. I know he's been out for a while. I think there were some injury problems with him.
.318 batting average for Garcia. Altuve leads the American League at .327, and Corey Dickerson and Aaron Judge starting play today at .325. Jose Ramirez, you mentioned him as an all-star third baseman. He's hitting .319.
With a lot of RBIs.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Craig Kimbrell makes it.
You sure you want to go that far?
Yeah, you know, he's been pretty good. How about Roberto Osuna?
I'm giving him some votes. I mean, Roberto's been almost unhittable this season. I think he's got an outstanding chance. When you start to put your bullpen together, lately they've been recognizing setup man for some of the jobs that they have done, like an Andrew Miller, Darren O'Day made it, Brad Brock made it last year for Baltimore.
Brett Cecil and Steve Delabar, they made it as setup men. Tulowitzki is going to stop Pedroia. They go back to second and go on Pedroia, so they get a double play. Moreland bounces into the unusual double play. It goes 6-3-4 as Pedroia is tagged out. So that's 2 outs.
Who this year has been a good setup man? Joe Smith was having a great first half.
How about Chris Davinsky?
He's been good. A lot of strikeouts.
A lot of strikeouts. Andrew Miller, Dylan Betances, Cody Allen, all those guys possibly there. Sam Travis is batting here for Hanley Ramirez. How about the pitchers? Well, we saw an all-star yesterday in Chris Sale.
Yeah, that's a lock.
Corey Kluber, Irvin Santana, Jason Vargas.
Vargas from Kansas City. We saw him last weekend when the team was in Kansas City. He's got 12 wins.
Andrew Miller, we mentioned Cody Allen. Yu Darvish, borderline.
Any pitchers from Seattle or Oakland that come to mind?
That's interesting. I think the only all-star might be Yonder Alonso from Oakland, the first baseman.
Chris Davis has hit some home runs, but he's not hitting for a very high average.
National League, just look at the first base position in the National League. You got to think Paul Goldschmidt, Joey Votto, and Ryan Zimmerman. All three of those guys have to make it, don't they?
Yeah. Well, what about Cody Bellinger? Isn't he playing first base?
He's an outfielder.
You're going to put him in the outfield? Okay.
Yeah, he's got to make the team too.
Charlie Blackmon.
High drive to center. Pilar hustling back, and he snow cones it and holds on for a catch. What an effort by Kevin Pilar in a 15-1 game. He never gave up on that ball that was headed over his head in center. He snow-coned it and then closed the glove on it. When he came to a stop at the base of the wall, he had the ball. Sam Travis drives and makes a bid for extra bases, but Kevin Pilar says, no way. Things have gone against us all day long. You're not going to get any more off of me. takes an inning off no matter what the score is, and we have seen it a couple of times in this series how skilled he is in center.
Well, he takes a lot of pride in his defense, and against Baltimore, remember this one? Gives up his body, crashes into the wall to take away extra bases against Ruben Tejada, and then just now Sam Travis bidding for extra bases and an RBI. In a 15-1 game, Kevin Pillar takes away a hit from him. Plays the game the right way, hard all the time as he corrals it, and he hits the wall, that left knee.
Tell you what, he did a nice job of cradling that ball once he got it in the webbing of his glove. You can see how he just turned his palm up and kind of caressed the ball in his glove to make sure he held on to it. Dominic Leone appreciative of that effort. You can bet that. Here is Justin Smoak. He's been the one bright spot for the Blue Jays today. 2 more hits today. He lined out in his 3rd at bat.
Where you grind it out. You don't look at that scoreboard and worry about the score. Don't give away at bats.
Pops this one in the air into shallow center. Jackie Bradley Jr. coming in, and he makes the catch, and Smoak's retired. Justin Smoak, in his 8th season in the major leagues, came into this season a career .231 hitter. And a couple of hits today, 2 for 4, and he will finish up this game over 300. Batting at .303 as we speak. Kendrys Morales a walk and a couple of strikeouts. Blue Jays have but 5 hits. They have had 17 hits in the 3 games against the Red Sox. Boston has 21 hits today.
Scored 8 runs in that 7th inning. It's more than the Blue Jays have scored in this series. That's the beauty of baseball.
It's only 1 loss.
Yeah, it's 1 loss, and you get a chance tomorrow. Turn the page, forget about this one.
They're going to New York to take on Masahiro Tanaka. They'll send Marcus Stroman to the mound. First of 3 against the Yankees. That's into the seats. Stroman, of course, grew up on Long Island, New York, so they have a lot of family and friends, and certainly the 4th of July holiday, a big holiday much like Canada Day for the United States, so he'll have family and friends around, I'm sure. Outside, it's 2-2. Stroman is 8-4 with a .341 earned run average. He has made 16 starts and has had a good start to his season with 8 wins. Full count.
They'll need him to pitch a good game against the Yankees. Stop this.
It'll be a 3-game series. Stroman Happ and Estrada for the Blue Jays against Tanaka. CC Sabathia coming off the DL will start Tuesday on the 4th of July. And then Michael Pineda. Morales draws the 1-out walk. He's reached twice on base on balls. 1 for 3 for Tulowitzki.
Bob will be credited with a save. If he can get through this inning, it would be his second big league save. 3 innings. He had one a couple of years ago when he was with Minnesota.
Drew Pomerantz will improve to 8-4 with a win this afternoon. Pomerantz allowed 1 run on 5 hits over 6 innings. So that drops his ERA to 3.64 to go along with those 8 wins. Joe Biagini gave up 7 earned runs on 10 hits over 5 1/3.
Some good movement on that pitch, and that's what Farrell was talking about. Johnny was talking about the starter setting the tone for his team and then trying to one-up each other or just trying to compete with each other, as the starters look like they're starting to round into shape and into form for the Red Sox.
Doug Fister gave them a good effort on Friday night. He went 5 innings. He was in line for the win, but Tulowitzki had a home run leading off the 6th off Heath Hembree, tied it up. So that gave Fister no decision in a good outing. Two and 2 now with Morales at first and 1 out. 9th inning, 15-1 Boston.
Extended outing for Abad. 47 pitches to try and get this save.
Tulowitzki called out. He's not very happy about that.
What was that?
Yeah,
like an ephus pitch, just 62 miles an hour.
Just lobbed it in there and looked like it was off the plate.
Not a full changeup, but that didn't look like a strike.
Two outs. Steve Pearce. For the 2nd straight day, Pearce has the only RBI for the Blue Jays. He homered in the 9th inning in a 7-1 loss yesterday and had an RBI on a sac fly in the 2nd inning today. Two and 1 now to Steve Pearce. Some hardy Blue Jay fans hanging out to the end, and as we mentioned, another sellout, 9th sellout of the season. This is popped up. Pedroia ranging into the outfield, and that's the ball game. For the first time since June of 2011, the Red Sox have swept the Blue Jays in a 3-game series here at Rogers Center.
Well, if you're the Blue Jays, Boston Red Sox took it to you. Turn the page. forget about this one. You got a big series with the Yankees coming up starting tomorrow, and then Houston to finish off the first half. The Red Sox came in here, could do no wrong. Blue Jays need to climb on a plane, forget about this one, and start over tomorrow.
Shift gears, go back on the road. Marcus Stroman will go to the mound tomorrow to face the Yankees and Masahiro Tanaka. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow from New York. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker. Blue Jays Central.
Yes.